Ladies and gentlemen, this is the start of a brand new show, the Friday Carrot Crunch. I'm here with Justin, whom I'm going to introduce to you in just a second. But firstly, for the benefit of YouTube and its beady-eyed algorithm, this is an educational poker show. It's not intended to encourage people to play poker. We are not affiliated with any regulated or unregulated poker sites, and we are purely interested in discussing the strategy of the game in a show like this. No idea if that's going to help us not get age restricted or whatever nonsense is going to get thrown at us. But yeah, anyway, welcome to the show. Carrot Corner Sensei, Justin, one of the more active senseis with a really busy hand channel where people post hands for review in our Discord server. Justin, it's been a while, I think, since you've been at Carrot Corner doing some stuff, but is this the first time we've ever like sat here face to face and really like spoke in person?
I think, yeah, first time on any kind of real video
Yeah,
cam. I think first time talking face to face. So
cool. So
it's
tell
probably been
us,
a year and a half since we started, but wow.
yeah, so tell us a little bit about you, where you at with poker.
Um, right now I'm doing poker along with a PhD. So aerospace engineering PhD, poker on the side, kind of my main hobby. I started, you could give a few different dates, but deposited online for the first time about 8 years ago. Had some interest previously, kind of just watching free content videos before then, playing with friends in school, that sort of thing. Just been getting kind of more serious year by year, picking it up. Haven't played suit. I didn't play 100% of that time since 8 years ago, but pretty consistently, brief breaks. Kind of just been in the game for a while.
Yeah, yeah, it shows from your thought process as well. You've definitely helped a ton of people out in your hand channel. If you're wondering what the hand channels are, guys, they are a place in Carrot Corner where you can post a hand, and an experienced member of our Sensei team, or me if you post it in my channel, will respond to you within a few days usually. And other community members will as well. And you'll discuss that hand in its entirety until you decide you've got enough information. You close the hand, and then another person will come along and open a new hand. I think it works really well. It's like a self-governing, like forum thread type thing on Discord, and it's one of the most valuable parts of our Discord server. In about a week's time, you won't be able to get into the Discord server without spending a considerable amount of cash at Carrot Corner investing in poker education. And so if you do want to get in more cheaply, pick up any of our courses or subscribe to Carrot Corner for a month. You can do that now. This is kind of like the last week before we put up the drawbridge and, make it a bit more of an exclusive place again. But yeah, how do you find the community, Justin? How's it been like helping out there, and like what do you make of the people?
I think a lot of people enthusiastic about the game, about learning. A lot of good questions. Probably the 15 to 20 most active people in the hand channels always have pretty good contributions to say, to add. People on various parts of their poker journey, but I
Hmm.
think a lot of good things to learn from there. A lot of different perspectives.
Yep. We did actually drop the drawbridge before Moist Flops. It's been dropped. Not fully, but it's been mostly lowered so that you only need a little tiny jump to get in there for quite a long time now. And most of the feedback we've had from inside is that people liked it a lot more when it was a bit more exclusive. I'm actually going to be talking about like ways of adding value on Discord if you are a Golden Carrot member, like you've purchased Golden Carrot, and also talking about like elite services that will be available to Golden and Platinum Carroteers at some point. Platinum doesn't exist yet, but it will at some point. And then like things like group coaching calls and just like very intense support from pros and experts, things like that. We're looking to bring your way. But we have some hands. Do say hello in the chat. Good morning to Moist Flops and to Solwa54 as well. Good morning to everyone else that's coming into the stream today. So Justin, as a sensei, you brought hands on. I'm not so much going to be coaching you because when players are of a more advanced level, I see it more as just like a chat about the hand rather than like me completely guiding you. So let's see what's going on here. We have Ace Jack in the small blind, and we've gone ahead and opened here BVB to 3x. This is a hand from Ignition. where you're generally playing. What do you make of the 200 ignition pool, just before we get into any specifics? Are there any reads people should know about from playing this pool?
This is the most psychotic pool you'll probably ever play in.
Hmm.
Uh, a lot of some fish, some regs trying weird things because it's an anonymous pool. Some amount of people trying to run other people over, myself included.
Mhm.
For reference, I know I didn't really say this, but usually play primarily online these days, mostly 200 to 1K. My main stake's 500. Usually I play some zone on the side just for a volume boost.
Mhm.
And really the only zone that runs on ignition consistently these days is 200. So
So
I
this
think the
is,
first set of hands I sent you was from ignition. That's probably what you have up here.
yeah, yeah. I saw there were some ACR hands and some ignition hands. I thought we'd start with the
Yeah.
Wild West and jump into ignition, which is like somewhere between 2006 poker and the modern day. There's like such a weird blend of people. You have like the mass data reg, you have like the nittier reg, and then you have like absolutely chaotic recreationals of all shapes and sizes. It's a very, very much like a circus of a pool.
And the thing about this pool too is oftentimes there are only 10 to 20 players in the pool. You get a lot of three-handed, a lot of four-handed, and you end up playing against the same players for a good bit of hands. If you can watch their stacks, you can have some idea of who you're actually playing against within that pool.
Yeah, yeah, that's
I
clever.
didn't have anything on this particular villain.
Mm. Good morning, Haspy. So we've gone for check on the flop here. Any thoughts on how you approach the situation?
My size here is quarter if I do want to bet. I think check relatively normal. I think betting's also good. Global frequency is probably something in the middle, 50-ish%, 55 maybe. 10 seems fine. You can make a thin value bet with it if you want.
Yeah. So Solver agrees with you. This is not. This is a hand that a lot of people would think is, I don't know, middling to bet. Like I've definitely seen a lot of students auto check a hand like this, and I think it's like, while it's not important what you do here, it is important to understand like where the EV of betting comes from. Like why is it the same EV to bet here as it is to check here in the sim with this hand? And I know that's the case for most hands, but like why? And the answer really is just that like you get called by a lot worse. Your pair outs are really nutty in the sense that like it's a wide range spot, so hitting a pair is going to just be really good. And yeah, you can actually go bet, check, check, and showdown and win unimproved against another ace high that's got too much SDV to bluff. So understanding flop play is really about knowing that like it's hard to go wrong on boards that aren't horrible for you, because almost all hands are going to qualify as like either a value bet or a bluff. There will be on this board because it's not that great a board for small blind. Like some hands like Jack 7 of spades, for example, here that are EV losses to bet out of position need to check, but as long as the hand has some prosperity, you're going to be mixing, right? So seems good. All right.
I tend to do a lot of flop mixing for what it's worth, but
Yeah, that's fine.
then turn river, take more pure strategies.
Yeah, yeah. So we face just over half pot. What do you make of this?
Didn't interpret a ton from the size. I think we just have a continue. I think pretty
Yeah,
much any hand with ace of clubs probably can't fold.
yeah.
We could raise. Seems not super common with ace jack. If we had a worse ace, probably raising is a little better,
Mm-hmm.
but don't think that different.
I'm just going to plug that into the lizard here, that sizing. Slightly over half.
I was gonna say you chose a really punty hand to start off with, but then these hands are a bit cherry picked to be the crazy ones. So
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I've kind of just loaded them up and I thought we'd work through them all anyway, so I'm not really prioritizing them in any order.
I'm excited. I think you might like a few of them. I know you'll really hate a few of them.
So, yeah, Ace Jack against the sizing, becoming mixy with the without the club. With the
Right.
club, you had the club, didn't you? You're obviously not going to be going anywhere. And the hand is not like so showdown driven that it can't turn into a bluff either, because there's going to be some bet folds that are better and some bet folds we're cleaning against, and some dominated stuff peeling like ace 5 and things like that. So it makes some sense. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I'm going to introduce the new host of this stream, the Carrot Crunch. He has TV experience. You know, he's basically Chris Tarrant at this point. He's a better host than I am. So I think we should bring in Mr. Sam the Lamb Stock Mix. A Cruel Game asked who the jester is at Carrot Corner a minute ago. I think you're about to get an answer to that question.
It's not me.
No?
I think so.
How are you, sir?
All good, yeah, all good. Justin, pleasure to meet you.
Likewise, morning.
Good morning. Good morning. You all right, everyone?
Not bad,
Very
mate.
strange.
Not bad.
We're good.
I mean,
Very
it's
strange. Pregnant pause.
well, I was kind of like I didn't want us both to answer at the same time, so I was trying to work out whether Justin was going to answer first or not before I answered. You know, now
I'm doing great. About to dust off 3 stacks with ace jack.
Just do it.
Oh, lovely. 3 stacks.
Well, I have 3, don't I?
Oh,
So we decided, Sam, that you're going to be the host of this show now because you are a
Absolutely
TV
not.
personality.
no, that's not true. Just good at remembering lines. Now I remember poker lines.
So we check called. I see what you did there. So we check called ace jack BVB on the flop here against B54 or some shit,
Mhm.
and then the turn was a jack of hearts, and we check and we face B75. So Sam,
May I please inquire the name of the website and also the value of the stake?
ignition poker.
200 zone.
Ignition zone. What stake? Sorry,
200.
200. Okay.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Probably a bot. Let's go. Just a call.
Yeah, I don't see anything else.
Seems good. I see where this is going.
Hmm. Um, I know a lot of people that play on Ignition. I study with them, and I'm pretty sure this is underbluffed. I think we're up against a strong range. So honestly, I just want to fold.
That's reasonable.
I can probably tell from what you were saying before, as I arrived, that we're going to bluff raise now. Yeah, I just wouldn't do that. I think sometimes they can turn up with a bluff, but I just don't think often enough. I don't trust players on Ignition to fold hands they should fold as well here.
If it was a bot, Sam, what would that make you think about the EV of jamming here?
Well, it's the same against anything that is under bluffing, right? We have less fold equity than we should compared to theory. So I don't like it.
So
That's my thing.
I would not. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I might push back a bit and say having less fold equity due to villain not having as much air. Like, yeah, that does affect fold equity. However, there could still be situations where, when you block the nuts, especially where a villain is overfolding the value part of their range, like dramatically.
I don't think they are. Yeah, sorry.
Right.
That I kind of touched on that point. Like, I don't trust them to fold like Queen 8.
Right. Okay.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they have that here, something like that.
Yeah, this is one of these pools that like seems to be
Very
something
strange.
nobody can agree on. Like when I talk about GG, like people can agree on like what it's like, sort of.
Yeah.
But when I talk about Ignition with people, I get so many different styles and approaches. And was it you that was saying yesterday, Sam, that like there are guys that win on Ignition by being like a high went to showdown station, and there are guys that win by being in net, and there seem to be like multiple ways to skin the cat here. Justin, what do you think about like general fold equity on Ignition 200 zone? Like, do you have a pool read on it? Like, do you agree with Sam's assessment that there are a lot of like bozos just snapping Queen 8 off because lol 2 pair, or do you think that like there's actually more fold equity than Sam thinks there is?
For what size are we talking about?
Probably
Just in general,
Yeah, just in general.
I mean, probably compared to other sites, compared to ACR, yeah, this is a way splashier pool. I do think once we're 200 plus big blinds deep, people don't like putting in stacks though.
That is another factor, yeah. I see a lot of hand histories from people I study with on this site. Um, it's a weird, like Wild West kind of site, and there are tons and tons of bots. Um, yeah, I see lines not folded. Like I see people call King Queen here. Um,
I would be pretty surprised if we got called by a flush or by sub flush for all in.
uh, okay, I wouldn't. Maybe it has to be better than King Queen, but like, mm,
Why is King Queen potting the river also? Just can't,
they're
right?
just weird. They're just I think it's a very like MDA driven site. Um,
Sure, I agree with that.
I think it's way more like binary as well. I think there's probably like a very common read that opponents cap themselves like way more than they should. Like I think everything's a bit more black and white. So for example, when you I just think your the read of your hand will often be that you're just completely capped. Like you never have a flush here. It's not a personal thing. I just think that's how the pool play against their opponents. I think the pool read is that opponents don't slow play enough. So I think they value bet a lot thinner. So potting rivers with like hands that you wouldn't necessarily see potted for value on solvers is more common on this site. Um, because of the being capped read.
Does that make it better to jam then? Just because they're going to have more like, I know you wouldn't necessarily trust people to fold, and there will be that time we run into the guy that calls. But if there is more like Queen 8 or Queen Jack for the sizing or whatever, a 4-3 for the sizing, then there should be, that feels like it can only help the case of jamming, because like even if those hands are gonna call more than they should, they're still like huge favorites to fold to all in, I would think.
Maybe in this specific case when like it would be such a huge jam, like nearly 10x.
Mm.
Maybe it's different.
Mhm.
I'm just talking like in general. That's kind of my read.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. So we're
wouldn't read too
risking,
much into blockers.
sure. So we're risking like 271 to win a pot of 64. So
Mm.
someone do the math for me on that real quick. That has to work at what frequency? It's about just over 4x pot,
85-ish.
just over 80, yeah. 85-ish. Whenever something has
Yeah,
to
it's a
work.
lot.
Yeah, whenever something has to work 85-ish, I always get a bit scared, and I think like doing this without the Ace of Clubs would be like so horrific, like it would be unbelievable. But with the Ace of Clubs, like I think this is a spot where when you're jamming 10x pot, oh well, sorry, 4x, 5x pot, the fact that you have that blocker is now extremely important to your EV. Like, yes, blockers are overrated and they're not going to be as central as stuff being overbluffed and underbluffed and MDA guys using like all bluffs for a certain sizing. Like, of course, that stuff's more important, but if there's ever a spot where we care about the blocker, this is it. And at least like you have the, but it's a prerequisite. It's not that like you definitely should do this with the blocker. It's just that doing it without it would be like absolutely idiotic, basically. Okay.
The spot, I think you basically shove and you flip over the ace of clubs. You just have it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Absolutely. You could do that live as well, just for effect, to be like a badass. Just like shove and flip it over. Like, what's my other card, bro?
Cool.
What's my other card, bro?
Just show one. Hate to see it.
I kind of thought I could make some people fold second that flush here. I think there will be some range folding with.
Oh, I
certain
agree.
plays.
I agree. I think like when range folding happens, it's usually really, really good. When it happens when you need 85%, it's not as good because like that's only a bit more. It's still good, but when range folding happens when you need like 60% fold equity, it's like unbelievable. When it happens when you're requiring 85%, it's less dramatic, like the effect.
Yeah, really don't know about the spot.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's so pool dependent, so meta dependent. I think it's like if I did this against a normal reg who I knew wasn't some like absolutely mental fish, I feel like you're getting the range fold against like 9 out of 10 regs here. or something like that, or at least like you're only getting called by like the king high flush at a frequency, and you're getting called by nothing else against most rigs. So I'm inclined to think that this plays like okay. It's just when you do it into a pool where villain could be anyone. Obviously, the bad part of it comes from like when you run into a fish that just has like a 10 high flush and it's just like, I can't fold. It's a cooler.
Yeah.
Tom Matthews.
Yeah, and
welcome.
line up to river is kind of fish indicative with like 60%, 75 pot, right?
Yeah, I bet.
But we don't know.
Fish will tend to use the like the preset bet slider.
Yeah, actually, maybe not the flop size. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I would look out for like 50, 75 and pot. Those are like
even
main ones
numbers.
for fish. Yeah.
What
I'd
about
say that's the case for like all sites, I assume, if they have those on the bet slider.
and what are the bot sizes? Are they like really specific weird sizes?
Yeah, they
I don't
just
know, but
if you think like if you know they're not a fish and they go like something odd,
Mm.
they're like if you assume that they're a reg, but then they do something weird, it's a bot.
Mhm.
You know, like B61 or like just like
Yeah.
B83.
Yeah. Let's see what the solver.
you're not looking at 100 bigs here, are you?
I'm looking at 100 bigs. That's
Or
going
you're
to
not
be
looking
totally.
at 300.
That's
yeah.
gonna be totally useless. But just for the just for the fans, we'll look at it because we have the 100 big sim loaded here. 100 and all in. Okay. I bet like at 100 it's still like. Why does it not have your hand? It's done something different with your hand somewhere.
Wrong line. It's a dog.
Wrong line. It has your hand. Yeah. Oh, Jack of clubs. So at this stack, this is really instructive actually. So at this stack depth, it thinks villain's bluffing with ace X off with ace of clubs, and it thinks that's like not that relevant a blocker for the remaining money because we're not that deep. But it thinks the Jack of clubs like unblocks the bluffs and blocks more value. I guarantee you that will reverse at like 400 big blind stacks where the ace of clubs becomes the be all and end all. So good choice of hand.
Yeah, I looked at it. That's pretty much right.
Yep. Yeah, villain definitely has to fold almost range in theory. Has to call 15% of the time or something. That's really hard to do. Like I don't think I call 15% of the time when I face that line, to be totally honest. But so the problem is not that it's a bad play against a known reg. It's definitely not. It's just like the volatility of ignition is the thing that brings it into question.
I have found though that there's a threshold about 200-ish big blinds where I tend to get a lot more folds.
Yeah.
But that
Loving all
could
the
just be me
live.
projecting.
Sure. Loving all the live options, says Tom. Was just about to continue the Easter one, was watching the vid and saw you were live. Do also do us a favor, Tom. Make sure you're logged into YouTube because some of our videos are getting age restricted randomly. It's just like a scattergun. And our stream from yesterday, the Carrot Lab, which is our Thursday show where we study with like a bunch of people, a bunch of senseis, that got age restricted. So if you want to watch that, definitely go find it on the channel and make sure that you're logged in, and do share the link with people as well because it's kind of rough at the moment. They're just randomly age restricting certain poker content for no particular clear reason. King 10 of spades. 3-bet, defend by hijack. We go third.
40.
Sorry, 40. And oh, your premium, that's good then. Now you won't have that issue. You will find that you don't get shown the age restricted stuff though, like it suppresses it. So do subscribe to Carrot Corner, guys. Like the only way you're going to not miss these age restricted videos, even if you are logged in, is by subscribing. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It's more important than ever as we move into these dark times. So we check the turn, which feels good. What do you make of villain's sizing here, Justin?
I would expect to see some half pot from some people. This, I guess, could be a king sometimes, but I think for the most part, they're saying the king queen plus probably. Not really expecting to see too many small sizes. Could see some third maybe, but
so you're
I don't think I'm folding a king ever, but I'm not feeling great.
Yeah, the king has the. It's kind of debatable. Like as villain goes bigger and bigger, like how good it is a king to call with. Now, a king is good in the sense that like it will be the most robust thing Actually, will it? I was going to say it'll be the most robust thing against villain's bluffing range, but actually, if you have like nines with a diamond, that feels like a way higher EV check call than a king in this spot. And the 10 of spades is like the nut worst 10. I wonder if this is a hand that's like close to indifferent here and just looks a lot better than it is. And I don't think anyone folds top pair here, but I wonder if it's a spot where humans get bogged down in the top pair label and don't assess their bluff catchers correctly.
Why do you think the 10 of spades bad? Do you think they peel ace 10?
Ace 10 of
Backdoor
spades,
flop?
jack 10 of spades, stuff like this could peel flop. For what it's worth, I don't think these low broadways with undercards to the king are particularly good. But I think ace 10 of spades and stuff is a call, and I do think people peel like some amount of those hands as well, like that they shouldn't. It's not a huge deal though, I agree. Sam?
Yeah, I would float here. I can see people merging here also sometimes, like nines.
Yeah, I was
With
thinking the problem with nines of the diamonds, we might run into tens.
This is ignition. Anything can happen.
I don't know that tens is even a bad bet. It's a little weird though.
Yeah, it is weird, but it doesn't mean it doesn't happen that much.
Mm. Yeah, okay.
And also, like, if we consider like the sites full of NDA regs and stuff, they might just be like, they might just stab here. They just might auto stab these spots for 1/3.
Is that three big blind open pre also?
Mhm.
Let me look.
Setting
Yeah,
up a sim
25
for
hands
this.
or 20 hands with villain. I didn't really have anything.
Mm.
Not fishy looking, but we don't really know.
So solver's range betting flop. Calling. And then the 5 of diamonds comes. Blocker
This is
check,
a lot of
probably for range
checking.
here and a lot of checking, yeah, I would
Yeah.
think. Oh, it's selected 2/3 is its default size. I
I had a
mean,
look about some of those
Because it's
spots.
king high? I don't know.
what's some?
I
Because the flop's king high, why would it go big here?
Um, I guess it's kind of, it just thinks that most of the hands it's betting are like quite thick for value. Like it's never betting king queen, right? So like if you go this sizing, you just don't get to bet king queen. And then as you guys were saying, like tens with a diamond is a more sensible value denial bet. Actually has higher equity hand to bet than king queen. So I think humans really get this wrong. Like they underreact. They bet a king a bit more. So your king blocker as a card is probably better against humans than it is against solver here. But solver's very like flush and bluff driven here when they go this sizing is small blind. I'd imagine it's the same. Like if you check here, it's
used
going to
to
be
play a lot of
similar.
block on this turn spot, but
Mm.
I had a look into it recently, and it looks like you mainly play big on some of these flush textures when there's no, say, medium high second card. So look
Mm,
on ace jack low flush turn, you can play block, but if it's ace six deuce, say like 7 turn,
mm,
you're just kind of polar because I don't think you have a second class of stuff that can really bet. Also, a lot of opponents' range is going to be pocket pair plus diamonds in
yeah.
trouble versus a bigger
Yeah,
size.
as well, yeah. So they're going to be pretty merged.
Yeah. So we're not really making many hands indifferent at all with a block here, right? Like at all.
Mm.
So as
Yeah,
played
because I think
then,
their flop continue range is so diamond heavy to begin with.
right,
They'll just have pocket pair and no diamond. That's probably indifferent.
right. So then villain actually can bet the tens of the diamond here, which is an astute observation. They should never bet like a naked king. So I think that's really instructive, right? That when you look at a hand like tens, that hand is entitled to less pot share EV, slightly less than king queen is, but it makes the better bet because the fold equity, I guess, is more useful, and it's going to be able to do more stuff on more rivers as well, I suppose.
10's just a hybrid, I think.
You think villain's folding like we were folding like jacks no diamond, queens no diamond then?
Yeah, we're calling nines eights with a
Fair.
diamond,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Okay, so let's look at that then. So hijack goes for this. That's actually too big from what did he go in
Yeah,
game?
it's
Like
big.
half? Was it just under
About a
half?
third.
Under half, I think it was 40-ish%.
Yeah.
I think it was a third. Well, it's like 35 or something.
Okay, we'll look at 40% anyway. So, okay, now you can start to put in a bit of king queen, like when you go down to that sizing. Yes, we're already indifferent. Can fold the king 10. Love it. I was hoping that would be the case because it was just striking me as like a really shitty hand to have. Not saying we should fold because I do agree that like they might be over merging and just being a bit random here, and there's MDA guys that are just betting a random hand. But against a well-crafted strategy, it makes sense that we would just be indifferent here.
I actually
It's
wouldn't
weird
pre
because
even. I would just I'd probably just call pre against the sizing, like a 3x sizing. People are more imbalanced on anonymous sites. So it's probably more likely, especially if there's a fish at a table. Like if I see a reg open 3x, I assume they're at a high part of their range, pre. And like King 10 small blind versus MP anyway is like meh. So if I feel like I don't want to three bet it, which I probably don't, I'll probably just call pre.
Yeah, reasonable.
sure, yeah. This is 500 reg table, by the way, on Ignition.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is just all the Ignition hands I played, so various stakes.
Mhm.
Mostly 500 reg or 200 zone.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
the
I can get
most of
behind.
the
I can
tables
get
are
behind
three
folding
banded
turn.
anyway.
It's close, but
I don't think I would fold the turn on Ignition just because people just click buttons sometimes.
sure.
Yeah,
It's funny because we say they might be merging, but they're also allowed to merge. So
at
and we're
some
still indifferent.
frequency, yeah. I guess like the point about the MDA guy that just like this is just becoming such a more common villain type these days, right? That archetype of like guy that's in a CFP, he's got given MDA. I always kind of hate them. Like I have a bit of disdain for them because like I imagine someone that's not actually put in the work and doesn't understand the game on a deep level. And I know some of them do. Some MDA guys do. Sam. Sorry,
Yeah.
horrible cough still.
You got a cough there. I think
Yeah,
it's
it's bad, mate.
You
It's
feeling
bad.
better, by the way?
Yeah, I'm feeling better, thanks, mate. Yeah.
Glad to hear it, mate.
So these MDA guys are like becoming more prevalent, and like the ones who don't know what they're doing, it's really funny to see them try to apply MDA because sometimes they'll just like yesterday I talked about a hand with you guys and Alex that was basically, or with Sam Akshar and Alex, that was like, and James, that was like I checked the flop as a small blind in a single raise pot against the big blind, and a big blind bets just over pot. And I call a hand, and Alex is like, you could fold this hand, and like whatever. We had a talk about it, and then we get to the river. I check down the pair of fives that I like called the flop with, and villain just had ace nine high on 6-5 on 6-6-5. This MDA guy, presumably that's what that is, has just slight overbet the fucking flop with ace nine high on 6-6-5, and it's just, I love it. It's great for me, right? It's really good for me because I'm like playing a protected checking range and check calling a lot, but it kind of makes me sick. It's like he's reducing poker to some absolute idiotic thing, and it actually works as well. Like if you're a bad reg that's using MDA and they're using it like a big giant blunt club and they don't know what they're doing, they'll do better than a bad reg that's trying to figure out the game, at least in the early stages, right?
Yeah, I mean, uh, it will work up to a certain point. I mean, as well, let me just try and get my words right here. I understand what you're saying. You know, it is quite funny. There's two sides to the coin. There's like doing the MDA and there's doing the theory. That's basically the way I see it. And for guys that are just MDA guys that haven't put in the theory, it is I can see why you find it funny and like fun to play against these guys who haven't done the theory side as well,
Yep.
because you can re-exploit them. I totally agree with that. I mean, they have put in some work. At least they've put in like the MDA side of it. So I sort of have a bit more like respect for them, so to speak, than like regs who just not that the respect is important or whatever, they don't need my respect, but I have a bit more respect for them than the guys that are just like fumbling around and just not really doing any research about how to like better their game effectively.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think importantly, actually, my main point is the thing with MDA is if you have just like a pure MDA strategy, that will do you very well up until a certain point.
Yeah.
Like you will crush 100 an L,
Yeah.
you will crush probably like 200 an L reg tables and stuff. But as
Mhm.
soon as you start playing at stakes where the pools are thinner and the players are better, like you're gonna get slapped around a little bit or only be a slight winner.
I've seen it
Um,
go like quite far the other way. I mean, this was like I knew a guy, the guy that I worked with to make the MDA for Grady of the Carrot Poker School. He
mm,
used the same strategy. You can see his 100 NL graph is just like straight up at like a 45-degree angle,
yeah, I
red line
remember that.
soaring. And then I think I included it as well in the in Grady,
Hmm.
as if to say like disclaimer, guys, if you're just doing this stuff over and over again at like higher stakes, because he then tried to play 200, and I think he tried to play 200 Zoom on stars, and we
Hmm.
all remember what 200 Zoom was like. It was like a fucking bloodbath. Um,
Hmm.
and he just got annihilated. So the difference of moving up one stake, it was
Yeah.
just annihilation. So yeah, learn theory. Definitely learn theory, and don't worry if you suck at poker for like a year while you're doing it. It's okay, as long as well, not that you suck. You want to be improving, right? But don't worry if like it takes you a while for things to click at the tables. But then also learn, do some MDA work, do a course, like figure it out, understand why MDA is what it is. I think that's really important. Like understand why do people overfold to a
Mm.
delayed C bet. It's because they don't slow play the turn enough and they lead too many of their draws that would check raise and their value hands that would check raise. And then they don't understand like relative hand strength enough against small to defend enough. Like if you understand that, that's so much more
Yeah.
important than just being like playbook says this. And I think a lot of MDA
Yeah.
regs are part of a community, like one of these horrible toxic MDA communities, Sam. And that's why they're just like button clicking because they've been given a sheet of paper that says do this, do that. Justin, what's your take on MDA? Like, have you ever dabbled in it, and how do you see it as it operates in the games that you play?
Outside of Grady and just looking through my own sample and hand histories and hand to note, haven't done much beside that. But it's funny because I started playing on Ignition, so that obviously helps you build some bad habits. Deposited on ACR. Ignition strategy was pretty basic, just run everyone over.
Mm-hmm.
Not a whole lot of some nuance, some more sophisticated things I would think, and kind of knowing some spots to give up in. But first, probably 10K hands on ACR, 500, 1K, everything going great. Then all of a sudden, one week I show up and everyone calls me down in every spot.
Yeah, yeah, it's like that.
Clearly
I think
redepositing.
it's vital. I think it's vital to have MDA study, just as it
I
is
agree.
theory. I think they're two sides of the same coin, and I think it all comes down to like your point, Pete, about not just brainlessly kicking buttons because playbook says so. Like it's all about pattern recognition. We had a question yesterday on stream where a guy was like, "Would you triple off on like ace, king, king, ace, X with like a nine high?" Like you might have it in data. I don't know if this is true, but like off the top of my head, let's say the data says, oh, people massively overfold to triples here. You can't just be like, okay, well, I'm just going to triple off here because
Mm-hmm.
that's what the data says. Like doing it in that spot um, would burn you money, I think. So,
Yeah,
and that's yeah, it's just like learn those two sides of the coin, and it like helps you hand read, range read, and hand read. Um, and that's about it. You should win a lot of money then
there you
if
go.
you game something well.
Well, that's it as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, people playing 25 Russian cash and the breaks 11 BB per 100 after BBJs and stuff. And like realistically, most of your money, if not all of it's going to come from breakback and BBJs. And then like, can you get to 2 or 3 BB per 100? Like that would be phenomenal if you could do that and then get right back and build a roll. But it's a fucking hard way to build a roll or game select and like try and find other ways to do it. Yeah, there's no like really nice path anymore, but there are options, right? So King 10.
Sorry, just quickly, like even guys in my group that I study with who play on Ignition, like
Mm-hmm.
they were talking the other day about times of day and days of the week to play.
Yep.
And Ignition is regarded as like one of the softest sites, highest win rates, that you can possibly play on.
Yep.
But the guys, when they play on Tuesdays or like Monday evenings or
Yep.
whatever it is
Yep.
in America, like they're basically break even, and these are guys that are winning.
I've
So
I've seen that in stars as well, like people winning at
yeah,
like 5-6 BB if they look at all of their Saturday or Friday volume, and then like breaking even and losing at 1 or 2 if they look at Wednesdays.
exactly. So you could like triple your win rate or whatever, or double your win rate purely by playing at like the best times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so it's such a huge factor. Not people don't talk about it enough.
So we dunk shove the river. What do we make of this, chat? What do I make of this? I have no idea what I make of this. I think I have to ask Justin to give me an explanation here because this is hurting my head to look at. Not saying it's bad, it's just hurting my head out of like confusion. Justin?
I just thought in my experience, this line would get a lot of fold equity. I've seen stuff like this before. I've seen a lot of folds.
Mm-hmm. That's a fair
I think.
and simple explanation.
I think
The
it's
problem I
pretty
have with
credible.
it is,
Pretty credible. We have nut flush, and
yeah,
I think they can fold a lot of stuff. But I think what I didn't realize here is it's a paired board, and they have some boats. They have the ace of diamonds themselves a lot. So I'm not sure I love it here specifically.
Mm.
I mean, they don't have many boats in the sense like they can't have king seven or kings, or I mean maybe fives. That's about it.
Oh yeah,
Um,
the sevens pair on flop. Yeah, I guess not.
I do agree. Like we have the highest concentration of like higher flushes, not like ace x flushes, the offsuits. But if we're considering his, I could be wrong. I'm just thinking out loud. If we consider his range on the turn to be, say, king x merges and like pocket pairs with diamonds, uh, again, I'm going to say I don't trust pocket eights with a diamond to fold here. And we might block a king as well, so mm, probably just check.
The king is kind of whatever. There's nothing else to bluff with. But it's I guess not great in that sense.
Yeah,
We block ace king
so
off, but yeah.
this is a massive overfold in terms of the math of the spot because this must be like a really good world for your range, and I'm always scared against potential fish when it's a good world for my range because the fold equity I'm meant to get is in part dependent on them like realizing that, right? So like if they do have, like to Sam's point, if they have tens with a diamond here and you shove and they're just like lol snap call, like that's such an egregious over defend that like your play is now just absolutely awful. Like if that's in their range to start with, like enough. So I think when I first saw the play, I was like, yeah, cool, I totally get this, like this looks good. And then when I saw this reaction, and like these are all diamonds that they're folding here.
Yeah.
And it's happening to such an extent that the solver's primary bluff is actually kings. Top set is the solver's pure bluff here for you, apparently. Which is wild.
Well, no,
Right?
that's a house.
That's probably not a bluff.
No, it's a house.
Oh, that's a boat. Sorry, it's a paired board. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, solid.
Yeah.
So the primary
what
bluff
are the
is
bluffs here?
king jack and king, yeah, mainly king jack, but also a bit of king 10.
Yeah.
Ace
I don't
king.
think it's a fish because they went a third on the turn. Fish just don't want third.
Yep.
No, it was more than a third. It was some
It was like B40, wasn't
some
it?
funny size. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a tailored size or a non like bet slider size. So
But I agree. I thought this was good when I did it, and then I looked at the response after and didn't love it.
Yep.
I think block is an idea too. I do think you want to dock the river
Mm.
either with value or bluffs. I don't know which is good, but I think you should play it as part of a strategy here.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I don't like it. I think it's just like you're just running into too many. Even a reg might just not fold nines with a diamond here. Sometimes. And they have to fold a lot, and then a fish is like extremely likely not to fold nines with a diamond, like I don't know, 75%. Maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe that's too much, but
if
Yeah.
it's a fish, I'm just like check calling. Genuinely, like they'll over bluff here.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't. I think I've got a good hand against the fish.
They have to block pocket pair and diamond on turn probably. I think regs are more likely to find that than fish.
yes, Sam, you're saying that a fish will just have ace queen of hearts.
They just bet because bet on the turn.
Mm, I don't
I
know.
don't know about winning 30% on the river.
Yeah. I feel like the fish is going to get a bit repulsed by this run out, like the four flush in particular. Not all of them,
Well,
but
I just don't think they have enough air.
it depends if
Fish
they're
jacks
called, like
definitely
some
have to
fish
be
will
there.
call flop with like queen jack of clubs. Like it's kind of rare, but you do
Yeah.
see it. Like they'll call range on flop because they're just like small bet. I'd steal it from you later. Remember in like 2009, Samuel will remember this, Justin, you're too young, but they used to say stuff like, oh, he's gonna call here, and Daniel's gonna call here, and he's gonna try to take it away on a future street.
Hmm.
Sam, do your Gabe
Yeah.
Kaplan.
Say again?
Do your Gabe Kaplan impression.
Yeah, I've done this for a while. And Negrano's gonna call. That's so shit.
It's always harder when you're put on the spot.
It's always hard when you're drunk.
I loved those days because it was just like, and Dwan's gonna represent that he's got the full house. Look at that, AJ. He's like clicked it back for a 5-bet with like 9-3 suited on the flop. Like fucking days of our lives, man. All right, so
I did see on the hand replayer. I think you skipped the second ace jack hand.
Wait, this
Yeah,
is
this one.
oh, you changed
It's a different
one of
one.
you
Yeah.
sneakily changed the ace from green to red, and I
Mm.
didn't notice. Right, let's go to get through a few more hands now with less silver. Check call.
Yep.
Okay. Over bet.
Big raise.
I would
Raise.
raise. Yep, they're very high EV here. I would definitely never slow play the spot. You're probably allowed to slow play in theory, but like fuck that.
Nice.
I wonder if I'd go bigger with just like the idea that like the high equity draws are like so high EV. Like if villain has like Jack 10 of spades, for example, and there are many hands like this, or ace X of spades, or ace X of diamonds, they're just calling any sizing. So I wonder if I would just like try and take advantage of that and size up. I also don't think like two pair in sets. Basically, like I think villain's bet call range is all like flush draw outs or boat outs. It's just like so outs rich that I just want to like really punish this more. I don't think this is the right sizing actually.
Yeah,
This is big though already. This is 75% pot.
This is
but
not big.
Yeah, I could go bigger.
This is
No,
definitely not big.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Because for the
They're on the
spot,
bluffing, right?
you want to be using like, okay, you're saying it's big relative to like, because it's an overbet, you're saying it's bigger than it would be if it was an underbet kind of thing.
It's percent pot,
Yeah.
kind of big, but I could go full pot probably.
Easy. Yeah, easy full pot. Like I wouldn't care about like the normal guidelines here. I think I would just like put in 40 big blinds and be done with it.
Sure.
I hate these spots, man. Like I really do. I mean, I'm just gonna jam river though. I don't think I'm that bothered
Yeah, I
by
agree.
this flush draw, and we have the jack of diamonds, and I think I'm just gonna shove river, unless it's an MDA guy, because against MDA guy they're gonna like shove queen jack of clubs 100% of the time against block. and it's
Watch
like,
what happens.
Queen jack of clubs, MDA guy. Oh, I hate them so much. I hate them. I love it when they get hurt at poker, at cards,
That's
at a game.
like, I don't think that's a bluff.
No, but they don't care. They're just like, you bet small.
It's
I use
definitely a bluff.
MDA. That's a bluff.
This is
Yeah, it can't be anything else.
honestly, I don't think it is on this side.
You think it's just utter spew?
Yeah, I just think it's just like merging.
This has got to be an MDA guy that thinks he can make you fold like a straight, surely.
I'm not sure.
No, I'm not having this. I'm not accepting that this is for value or this is a merge. Like, surely not.
Honestly, I honestly think it might be. Like, I think you just get called a lot
No,
of the
it's
time.
not. Ignition is not as bad as you're saying. It's not that bad.
Agree to disagree.
Is that part of your
How many
rationale
hands have you
here?
played on it?
Me? Are you asking me?
Well, I've never played on Ignition, so I think he's asking you.
Oh, well, I didn't hear the question.
How
Sorry.
many hands have you played on Ignition?
I don't play. I study with people that play on it, so I've seen a lot.
You'd get some of the spewiest hands ever, but that's not every hand.
I just think when when I see like these river blocks, I think people will just be like, ugh, cool. If they have a two pair, they just try and bluff catch. Like they beat all your missed spades. Not that you have them that very often, or Jack X or whatever. Like it's like the fact that this has been done is confusing in itself. Like the fact that we don't really well, the fact that we disagree.
Well,
I know.
let me share some experience I've got more from like GG pools, like coaching GG pools recently. There has been an influx of like MDA guys into like 200 and 100 Russian cash, for example. And this is exactly the shit that they're doing. They've been told to raise the river, and they are raising any hand they don't want to call on the river. So as long as their hand isn't like a attractive call, which obviously Queen 10 here is not, they're just like bluff jamming it all the time. And it's a small part of the pool, but if you know who they are, there's a tremendous edge there. So I'm kind of saying to my students, if you ever see it from someone, like this kind of thing, you give them the MDA guy tag, not the this guy can bluff tag. Like I'm not a fan of these vague wishy-washy tags, like, or these vague notes like capable. Like see if you're the kind of guy or girl that writes a note saying capable, you may as well quit the game. You should quit the game.
Baboon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to disagree with what you're saying. I don't think from the guys I talked to, like if it was so like mega spewy, if this was common enough, they would incorporate it into their strategy with all value.
Is that why you did it, Justin? Were you thinking like my hand is easily thick enough to jam, but I think there's going to be spew here?
I thought it was close to thick enough, but yeah, I'm expecting some stuff like this. Also, this has to be a turn fold. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like merging on previous streets already. So like there's evidence of that. Like it's not an overbet for starters, I
No,
don't think.
it's
I know
not a
it's
good
double flush
overbet.
draw.
It's not a good overbet. You're blocking the
And
stuff that
they've
you're
Overbet's
called
protecting.
a
probably-
raise
yeah.
like it's just this is what I'm like the call is merging. Like the overbet's merging. The call is like worse than merging. But just yeah, this is what I
Yeah.
mean. Like I think they think, oh, I've got two pair, like I have a good hand here.
He bet small. He showed weakness. He has ace king. I put him on ace king. I can see how a fish could think queen 10 was a value shove here. Like it's egregious, but fish are very bad at poker. Like that's the thing you got to remember.
But they might just think like I beat like queen
It
six.
could be either. It could be an MDA guy that's bluffing you, and it could be an MDA guy that doesn't actually understand poker, that's just following a chart. Or it could be a fish that thinks they're like value betting, or it could be a fish that thinks they're repping the flush that's bluffing you. It could be all four. Like we just don't know, but it happens sometimes. So that makes me not
I
mind the
think
line,
so.
the fact that shit happens, by the way. I think I'd still jam as played like in game, but I don't know. I don't mind the line if that's happening a bit. We talked about
We've
this hand.
seen this hand. Yeah.
I'm not sure it's supposed to be thick enough to jam, but it's probably close.
Oh, surely it's thick enough with the jack of diamonds and it being the backdoor
Yeah,
flush. So that is
With
fair.
the diamond, yeah, but just ace
Okay.
jack in general.
Yeah, okay, maybe.
I mean, look, they're not going to fold queen 10, so they probably won't fold ace king.
They're gonna ship it anyway, just bet call.
Well, sometimes they'll check back. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And like you've condensed them enough. Like they've gone bet over bet and called your raise. Like their range is extremely strong. Well, not extremely strong. Like it's strong enough to like always call your jams pretty much.
Okay, so we have ace jack, we'll check called flop, turns gone check check. This looks like a really good check raise spot to me. Any
Yeah.
disagreements here, Justin?
I agreed.
And then sizing is the only thing. I would make it very big.
I agree.
30.
I'm gonna go for
What's my sizing? So that's
39.1.
I would just bet a round number.
Oh, just all in. Just all the tomatoes, man. Let's play for all tomatoes. Yeah?
Probably wouldn't go this big.
You did say there'd be some hands I hated, to be fair to you.
It's the only raise size in the solver, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, but fuck the solver. I'd probably raise the flop as well.
So in the solver, like, no one ever has a hand that beats you, right? Because they just play some sort of, like, pure bet earlier or overbet. In reality, that's probably close to true as well. See, the thing is, like, my objection to this play is that it's played at 200 ignition. And I wonder if, like, no, but it's ignition, so there will just be fish that, like, are totally inelastic and just, like, randomly call, like, one pair. I don't
This is a
know.
reg. This is a reg. Like he won third flop.
Yeah. Yeah, against the
Yeah.
reg, I probably wouldn't try this, but I can see there's actually quite a bit of logic to it. Maybe I don't mind it. What do you think, chat? What do you think, chat?
Do we have the same hand? No, we don't.
Okay, what's he called with? What has he called with? Right, if we lost here, what would he have for us to lose? The one combo of aces? I don't see how we
Aces or
lose.
jacks, probably.
One combo of jacks? 4 or 5? Like, surely fucking not.
No, they would overbet the river with 4.
Or
I
not
mean,
check the
they would
flop,
bet
or
the
not check the
turn.
turn. Yeah, one of those hooks
Yeah,
would get jumped through. It wouldn't get jumped through, right?
Yeah,
Okay, guess the hand, chat. Let's go. Guess the hand. What does villain have?
I guess he has a worse 2 pair. Or ace king.
Ace 6 is the most likely hand here, I think. He does not have 4-5.
4-5.
4-5 off, like open under the gun. Check back flop. Check turn, and then not overbet river. I mean,
Flop was bet.
oh, flop
But,
was bet.
yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, flop was bet.
He went B30, check B75.
Yeah. Sorry. So this could easily be like jacks or aces, then I guess, but not easily, but it's possible. Hmm. I think ace 6 is the most likely, though. Yeah. Are we not going to see? Oh my god, man.
I don't know what he had.
Why would you send us his hand? We can't even see. What did he have?
Surely
Did
you
you check?
remember.
No, I was looking at another table. I didn't even realize I want to stack.
Oh, the pain.
Oh, another stack.
Let's just say, I think he had ace
I
6.
can I can download the hand. Let me go do that.
Yeah,
can
we
you do
need
that?
to
'Cause
know.
I think it's really important.
We need to know for the sake of the stream's integrity.
Sure thing.
In the meantime, we have ace queen. We've gone for 3 ball. We get 10-5-3. We've gone b75. Villain's called. This is the sort of time I would use blocks because the opponent's getting so polarized here to like flop slow place, 2 pair, a6, and then like some really bad hands are just awful, like king, queen of diamonds, or 6s or something, or 8s. So I think this is a good block. I guess you can check this in theory sometimes, maybe. I don't think I would. Block with ace of spades seems okay. I expect so much stupid spew here as well from this pool, like from the regs in this pool. I expect quite a bit of it. Uh-huh. Same hand. I wonder if we should block smaller on river.
No, I would just go. I would just go thin value. Yeah, I mean, look, they didn't bluff this hand, right?
This is getting a bit ridiculous to bluff, right? Like this is getting a bit
But we're
absurd.
saying like they are ridiculous sometimes. So
Not this ridiculous, surely. Like, there's a huge difference. Like, okay, if you're an MDA reg, Queen 10 in the last hand, or 2 hands ago, is actually just awful. But Ace Queen here is like a value beater or value chopper. Like, it's clearly like,
to you, it's awful.
there's a difference.
Yeah.
Not just to me, there is a difference. Like, it'll affect how many people do it.
Well, I think the difference is that you can recognize that better.
No, not everyone can recognize it, but enough people can recognize it that it'll be different in the data. Like, there'll be more people bluffing the last spot with Queen 10 than bluffing this spot with Ace Queen, I would think.
I just think people they look at like absolute hand strength more than they do relative. But anyway,
That's fish, yeah, but I'm talking MDA reg. Okay, what are your thoughts, Justin, on this one?
I think that's a pretty normal hand.
Yeah.
But I could block river smaller, maybe.
Yep.
Turn is interesting on the ace always because you sort of have to work through and figure out how much ace high they're calling flop with
Hmm.
in position. Did it go half on flop? Is that what happened?
You went B75 or
I'm
Seven.
wondering
B60 or
what's the
something.
SPR on the turn?
1.5.
Okay, it's a bit too much. I'm wondering whether to jam.
Don't think on an ace turn, but on another double flush maybe.
Mm.
Mhm.
I guess not with this hand. If you have like ace queen of clubs, that'd be quite interesting.
I think Villain has like enough hands that beat you here when you have ace queen of clubs that jam starts to become kind of meh.
Or maybe check raise. I think they're probably
Maybe check raise.
gonna be draws actually. Yeah. All right, next time. Come on.
Yep. Here's a fun one.
Okay, blind versus blind, 3x, calling big blind. B50 in a bit. It's the same sizing we saw before.
The same size, yeah.
Same guy?
Don't know.
Could be a bot.
We go for check raise, which I like. We go for a huge sizing here. This is interesting, Justin. I want to pick your brain on this one. What's your thought process behind this sizing?
First off, my flop c-bet size here is 3x pot. Something you can do with blind v blind on the low rainbow boards.
Love it.
So I'm just constructing my check raise kind of the same way and going huge.
I love it. I was talking
Pretty
yesterday
much
about sidelines.
Ace 9 / king 9 plus.
Yeah. And I know you'll say it's a main line, but like, I mean, a sideline from the point of view that the pool has like never faced it before. So it's pretty
Nobody
cool.
really plays it, but it is kind of a solver preferred strategy.
Yep.
If whatever that means.
Yep.
I'm worried when he calls that.
I mean, in theory, do you think this is going to be over? Like in practice, Justin, do you think this is going to be overfolded?
It's hard to say because I see a ton of folds here, but they're also supposed to fold a lot.
What's their fold
Probably
percentage here?
they're going
We're like 2 and
23 into 9.
Yep. 70.
Yeah, around there.
70 folds. That's actually very easy to do. Like, it's very easy to fold like 80 or 90 here, probably, just based on like what your range is going to look like.
I think they're probably indifferent with like 9-8 off.
Yeah, yeah, of course, and especially if they're betting like fours here at high frequency or they're over merging, which I think a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Then it's easy for them to fold like really, really often here. So yeah, really interesting line. Do they call? Obviously, they hit some 2-pair on this card. But do they call like 10-7 and like gutters to that giant sizing? That's gonna. I mean, not gutters probably. Is that still a hand we should just continue as in position against this? Do you think? Like just because like we've got to get those defends and this is a nut draw with position, or do we just favor like showdown value like fully here as big blind? I really don't know.
What the pot odds?
37%.
Pot odds 37.
Bleh.
10-7 with backdoor is pure defend for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I understand about these spots, you mostly play defends from redraw and play dogs kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And just a bare 9 probably start folding.
Mm-hmm.
Turn, I'm really lost. I don't really know what to do here.
Yeah.
Exploitatively, I wouldn't call the flop raise with 10-7 because the raise is so large. I know you might be thinking, "Oh, good, then I can exploit you." But like, I think the general trend is like the bigger the raise, the bigger the value versus the pool.
Yeah, I think versus the pool, the problem with calling the flop raise is that the recreational that's just doing this is going to be betting the turn at an astronomically high frequency, and so you're just going to under realize. But I can see why in GTO it's a defend.
Also, I have found the hand we beat in the ace jack hand.
Oh, okay. But let's finish this one really quick, and then we're going to go back and reveal the result of the ace jack hand.
Genuinely excited.
So yeah, I don't know what to do on turn either. I feel like now we can use smaller bets because one, urgency is just really quite low here, even though we're out of position, and two, villain is just uncapped with like their 10-7 of backdoor at least, and with like it's going to be like a reasonable part of their range given they've shed so much on flop, and then also like 9-8 or 6-8 if they ever have that, like 6-8 backdoor, 9-8 backdoor, that kind of thing.
7-5 is a double gutter.
7-5 is a double gutter. Very good point. Yeah, this is a horrible card for your range. This might even be like a range check. Yeah.
Maybe you can just like B10 exploitative.
Mm-hmm. They check back. Block seems good on river. I hate the 8 though. Like 8-7 and 10-8 are just such. I feel like their range is so open ender heavy when they call flop there. Open ender, slow play heavy, and top pair heavy. So again, if I was going to block this spot, I'm just going to block smaller than 1/3 here. I don't think 1/3's my choice.
Yeah, I don't think my hand's as good as it looks here.
Mhm.
This is a little too big.
This sucks. I hate folding because you can tell I have an actual complex about the MDA guys, right? You can tell I actually have like a pathological disorder about them. So I would call and shout at the screen because it's an MDA, because it might be an MDA reg, and then get stacked by the 10 trillion value combos in villain's range.
Yeah, just fold.
I prefer getting called and shouting and then going on tilt and then like ruining my day.
Yeah, if that's cathartic for you.
No, it's not. But I prefer it because I feel like I have to do it, Sam.
Okay.
I have to do it.
Okay, I wouldn't.
Nice, good fold.
What do you have?
Don't know.
Can't we look it up?
Probably. I just downloaded a bunch of hands. Let me look.
Let's
When
start
is this
with
from? Do you have the
You can
date?
type in the hand number into the search.
the hand number is. Hold on. What were our cards there again?
Oh,
That
that's a
was
new trick I haven't
ace-9.
heard of. Okay.
4-7-7,
Yeah, that's the number.
4-5-4, 5-9-4-9. Can I take your
Give
hand
me a
number,
sec.
please? Have you got your hand number there? What's hand number? If you open your poker tracker, what? If you open your poker tracker, sir. Imagine poker.
The reason why
customer
this is tough
service.
is because I have a second database I need to go to for the hand histories with whole cards.
Okay.
So I have to go there and then find it.
Bad times, man. I remember poker used to be an easy, simple thing where the software all worked before Ignition was the thing. So what if
Wait,
you
don't have the client on that computer.
What?
You don't have the client, the Ignition client on that computer.
Oh, I can look it up on the Ignition client.
Yeah. On the site.
It's too late for that. But yeah.
God. Right, guys. What did he have in
the client open there?
Ace Jack hand? What did he have, Justin? What did he have?
April 17th. He had, I don't remember the suits, but Ace King off.
Ace King off.
Just called.
Wow.
Yeah,
top pair, yeah.
Before I look at the Ace-9 result, I just thought surely the river spot probably can't be overbluffed. There's so much 8x on river.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so
Maybe
much
they bluff raise
because-
maybe they bluff raise a 9, but that's kind of weird.
I think when you block this
5-4,
river,
sure, a 6, sure.
like when we block this river, we just put ourselves in this spot where like villain can almost range jam, and it's just like disgusting. Because like if they get here with 6-7, it's just so fucking obvious that you should jam if you have like half a brain here. I think like it's so easy to find it, and if they have an 8+, it's so easy to find it, and if they have 9-7, they might still just find it. So I feel like this performs really, really badly against like a decent reg at 500. I think we should just like B10 or check.
Yeah, maybe just check.
Maybe check.
They had 7-5 off.
Nice.
Okay.
And they noticed that they had a double gutter. That's good for them. I might have missed that. Like in the panic of like your giant bizarro flop sizing, I might have just like not realized that the 4 made me a straight here. Well done.
They might call 7-5, but they think it's a gutter.
Maybe. Okay, we have a 3-bet pot with ace queen. And we started with a check, non-standard. Thoughts?
Non-standard in a sense.
Okay, this is a reg.
2.2.
130 deep.
I don't think they're gonna bluff enough on this board. Like, I think they're gonna absolutely take a card when they have pocket sevens or whatever, or like ace eight of diamonds.
We want them to take a card when they have ace eight of diamonds.
Well, okay, in the case of that specific hand, yeah, but I think I'm just range betting here against the reg.
Like, I used to be like, this is the thing, like with MDA, Clanty was talking about this, and he was saying, you know, Pete, the thing with MDA is that people are a bit short-sighted with it, and when they look at MDA, they're not necessarily putting it together in the right way. And he was walking at times, he was on a walking treadmill, if that was clear. And he was kind of saying, like, if you just look at the first data point and jump to the most natural conclusion, you're not really using it right. So, like, I could, like, agree that people are understabbing the flop here, and we don't make as much from bluffs as we do in GTO. But it could also be the case that, like, if we bet, people are overfolding or under raising. So there's also an EV loss there with that hand. Or I could say if we check, then the way the turn and river play out is really good for us because they're going to be really transparent, and there's just so many like ways you can go with it. So I'm not sure that like that's a good enough reason just to always bet the hand, but at the same time I'm happy always betting the hand, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the texture. I don't know what the data is here. I think they do probably overfold to a small bet. Um, I don't know if they overstab when you check, but I just think on Queen Jack Deuce, I just don't think they're going to bluff enough, and that's like a big chunk of the EV when we check.
yeah, but they might bluff later. Like they might not bluff right now, and we have a very invulnerable hand. So I think the way I would think about this is just like I just don't care. Like I'm just going to do something on the flop, and then I think it's really ambiguous like what's best on the flop here.
Well,
I
if
didn't
I think
feel
they're going to
strongly about
underbluff, and I know they're not going to fold Queen Nine to a triple.
You don't know that though. Like some people will.
My read of the pool from what I've seen is that they don't like folding absolute hand strength hands.
Okay.
So I class ace queen as extremely nutted, and I think versus, I mean, this might be the wrong read. This is just me sketching it as we go along. My read is that urgency increases, but in a spot where we're not going to get bluffed enough with this hand on this board. I do agree that when we check, you know, like his, I don't know, he can like spike something that would cool us down for like two streets. Yeah.
Yeah. And they'll fold
I'm
Queen
not
9 to a
saying that
triple on
I
some runouts as well. Like it depends on the runout. Like that's also the thing. Go ahead, Justin.
I'm not saying that I think the check line is better, but I will say if it goes check check flop and brick river, I think we're gonna rate to win a stack pretty often. Is my feel about how
Say again. Sorry,
this
say
game
again.
plays. I think the line that goes check check brick turn is really really good for us. I think we can win a lot of stacks there just by getting heroed.
Do you think they're gonna hero you with like sevens, like third pair when you bet twice?
Mostly a jack, but
Yeah,
maybe an underpair.
definitely a jack. I think a jack's calling three streets anyway.
No way.
Well, still like reasonably likely.
Also,
It depends on brick runouts.
check raise
That's
is good if they're betting like too much of their 10-9, King 10, which they probably are, and they're betting
Yeah.
that Queen 9 too much anyway, then we can't really argue with check raise on flop. I like check
Check
raise.
raise is a good option, I suppose. On a side note, for me personally, I don't know if the pool feel like this, but whenever I'm playing and I see a reg check like double Broadway low, I'm very, very
Sus.
suspicious.
Sus.
Yeah. Um, So that makes me like never stab, never bluff those spots
I
basically.
agree that if a reg checks the spot, we are doing really badly by bluffing as cutoff. If if it's a fish that checks the spot or a tight reg or like net fish reg, like then we can
Yeah,
just
it's
bet.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can look at flop. I don't even think flop is meant to be a range bet. A, because we're deeper, and also just small blind cutoff. This is not super great. It's
It,
fine, but I don't think the strategy is going to be to range bet
No.
third.
Probably not in
It's
theory.
probably gonna be half or 60 with the
Yeah,
mixes.
maybe in theory, I don't know. I haven't looked, but humans do range bet this flop, and when it isn't, I just think, okay, you have tens, a slow play, um, a jack, just something like showdown heavy, basically,
Yeah.
or a slow play.
Yeah, I agree with that in most stakes. Like when it's not a really good reg, like they need a reason, like they need something to snap them out of the sort of bet small trance in a flop, and that won't be them having ace 10, and it won't be them having ace 4 suited. It'll be them having like jack 10 or some
Mm.
kind of hand they want to check raise or something like that. I think if you do get check raised here as cutoff, by the way, at almost all stakes, like you are extremely dead, and it's like very, very undered against most people. So if you did bet
Yeah.
here and face a check raise, I would be looking to hero fold quite a bit. Queen of Hearts, Jack of Clubs, Deuce of Clubs. Let's just see quickly what the solver thinks about it. So it's 76% bet, hand's
Okay.
almost pure, but this is 100 big blinds. So you know you're probably right that as we get deeper here, aces and kings get worse, and checking becomes more of a thing. Okay, like the turn sizing, and hand is definitely worth something on river. The question is how much. How much is it worth, Justin? What do you think?
You like your blocks? I'm getting a sense of a block here.
Where did I go? It's anywhere between 25 and 40 is probably right.
Yep,
Percent pot.
yep, I like it. I definitely block here.
25.
I don't
25 is
think.
too small, I think.
I think check's
But
really bad here. Like in
Check call
general,
is great.
yeah, check call sucks. Like really, really sucks. Block call is better than check call because they're going to be like cornered animal with like Jack 10 and rip it against the bet, but never bet when you check. Check fold is probably like a really nice exploit here,
Hmm.
but then you miss value. It's annoying. I kind of want like the clarity of like check and then facing it all in with the ability to still value bet. But I just feel when you value bet in this day and age, these bloody kids these days with their MDA are going to be jamming Jack 10 on you at like way too high of a frequency. So if I did block here and get jammed on, I'm gonna call because I don't believe that the non-paired open enders are checking back flop at the right frequency, and I believe that like the tens and the Jack 10, if they call turn with that, are like gonna overbluff the river. So I think I would call. I would bet call here actually if I bet. Nice, I like
Oh,
it.
here we go.
Good hand. Unlucky.
What? Interesting.
If I checked and faced all in though, I would fold. It's kind of weird, right? Because I just think they're so showdown bound, and the way humans play these days is they just check the showdown value back, but they get cornered when you bet. Such a common thing. But I'm also creating a real unhealthy pathology about the MDA reg in my brain. So who knows?
Yeah. I don't think they're as common as you think on this
They're
side.
everywhere, Sam. They're watching you sleep.
But even like MDA guys will find it hard to like call an overbet and then raise the river
yeah, there's a lot of
Broadway.
context for it.
Just because you're
The ace nine
paranoid,
hand, for example.
don't mean they're not
I
after
mean, they're
you.
not after you.
Hmm.
What a line.
What a guy he was.
Yeah.
He's before your time as well, Justin. There was a guy called Kurt Cobain in the 90s. He was in a band called Nirvana. You wouldn't have heard of it.
Do you know what I'm excited by? I found out
Who's that?
there's there's an exhibition here in like a month. It's a Nirvana exhibition at the Royal College of Music, and they're on display. They're going to have the guitar he played for the MTV Unplugged.
Din, 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 din.
I was around in the 90s. We don't talk about when.
Nah, mate. Nah, you weren't, mate. Nah.
Next time,
5-8, 58 of spades. Call big blind.
fold pre.
What? Come on. This is such a fun hand to flop straights with. See?
Oh right, okay, nice. Well, you should four bet then. Just go straight to the four bet.
Where's my phone? It just dinged. Can't find it anywhere. Where's my phone?
Got a delivery.
Oh, guys, I'm gonna have to go. Yeah.
Oh, I'm really sorry. Can you do the stream? I make a coffee and talk to the roof man because I'm playing
That's
golf.
so fucking standard me, isn't it? Sickening. Remember those days when it was just
Sounds
like,
nothing like you.
remember those days when it was like always me, you, and Chris on the stream, and then I would always go and make a coffee for ages, and then the builder would always be there, and then I wouldn't come back for like 20 minutes. Ooh, the small race. This is something I'm messing about with recently. I can see why we'd want to do this here. I can also see why we'd want like gargantuan raise here too. You could play both. You were that way inclined. Didn't know there were people who exist who don't know who Kurt Cobain is. There is. We've got one right here. It's called Justin.
Yeah.
He's not disagreeing, so I'm going to assume he just doesn't know who Kurt Cobain is.
He's a smart guy. Come on. B75. Nice. Okay, fine. What a horrible river.
So Justin, what's going on here?
I'm still thinking about it.
Okay, I'll think about it too then. Editor,
block.
insert thinking sounds.
First off, they went one big blind on flop. I don't know how to interpret that, but that's not normal.
Fish.
Nah.
Why not?
Fish, misclick. I don't know.
2.5
Expecting
pre.
to do something. Yeah.
2.5 pre is probably a reg. I think this is a flop that
This
would
was not a fish, from what
Yeah.
I recall.
I think it's going to have a reasonably high checking frequency on this flop. So I'm not surprised to see a small, like a tiny, tiny bet when they do bet. I'm seeing this more and more, like
yeah.
this kind of 1BB thing. I think it's like a new reg thing.
Mhm.
New fancy
It's
play.
okay. Yeah.
Like when people
Just haven't
started
seen it
like
much.
over betting flops, you're like, oh, I guess that is a thing. I think
Yep.
I'm seeing this.
Yeah, a lot of things that didn't used to be things are becoming things now, and that's becoming more of a thing. So
Yeah.
a lot more things.
I don't think they're going to fold enough over pairs on the turn. I think I think
Agree.
I would block here.
Agree. Yep. Yeah, I like it. Like they don't really have a six much. They don't really have a nine as often from hijack as they would from like button because they don't have the offsuit nines. So if they don't have the offsuit nines, I'm actually not very worried. If they have the offsuit nines, I'm like terrified. I also think an offsuit nine is like a nine in general might fold the turn, and they might like go absolute hand strength and call queens instead of the nine, which feels wrong, but they might do it. Yeah, I'm definitely blocking river.
Maybe a nine, sure. 10-9, 9-8, of course not.
Sure. But you
yeah,
block 9-8. You block 8-9 of spades, which is a really nice. The 8 spades is a
True.
really good card to have here. Really good.
And 6-5.
Yeah,
I think I just misevaluated positions here. I don't know. I ended up checking.
Yeah.
Again, as well, like
I
check
agree.
call
I
is
agree.
gross. So that's another reason to block.
I actually don't think you even need to block. I think you can go bigger.
On river?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe a half bottom.
Yeah, villain's range is like not as scary as it looks. Like this board is like not as bad as it looks for you. Wow.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just folding. Like,
So he's just
Bet
saying he has
call.
he's saying he has a 9.
10-8 maybe or better.
or just
10,
like
8
a
or
house,
better.
like sevens, sixes.
I honestly
nines,
don't
sevens
expect a
sometimes.
6 to do this that often.
No.
At 200, like at 1k or something, sure, because like it becomes really nutty, but like I don't, and also like what 9 are you really meant to have here when you check raise flop, barrel, turn big? Like I don't think you really have a 9 here much, but I still don't think people understand that. So I feel like their value range here is 9x, like almost entirely, even though they could do it with lower stuff.
I don't like I've seen a lot of hand histories, Pete, on this site. I've seen a lot of hand histories. And I've seen people playing as high as 1K. And I like humans are just humans. Like I don't think you just don't see this enough with like a 6, even at 1K. Like yeah, it's high stake, but they're not like elite enough. I think I just like look at the line. Like this is what I just always fall back on. Like, what's the line? He's bet called, called, and then jammed.
Mhm.
MP versus big blind.
Mhm.
On a board that's like, I guess he could have some missed flushes.
Mhm.
That's basically it. That's what you. He has a missed flush, or
Like ace eight, maybe.
yeah, having an 8 isn't great.
Yeah, having an eight's really not that great. I mean, you do block 8-9 though, which is like the main 9, I guess. That's definitely calling turn pure. But it might not. Do people ever like not open that in hijack? Like 9-8 in hijack is like whatever, right? Like I don't think I'd necessarily take the spot if I was if I had something better to do in another table. I'd just ditch it and not bother and think about the other table. It's that sort of hand.
I'm definitely not calling. Like this is like why I'm blocking river or betting river.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, okay, nice.
It's
I want to
tempting
know
to
what he had.
want to call because like you know they're repping somewhat thin, but if our read is that they over defend turn with a 9, we're just dead here against this sizing, especially because like I think what sinks the ship here is the thought that there are many humans who will never choose this as a bluff size with a missed flush draw. They'll just go smaller. But it's kind of normal to do this when you just have the uber nuts. One big blind
Well,
flop
I know
with
what
a
Villain
9.
had
Yeah,
here.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely, Ritalin.
You know what he had?
Like, you can't,
yeah.
if this is a reg, you can't just say they would go bigger on flop with a 9 and like their sizing on flop is a 6. Like, you can't just accuse a reg of that. If it's a fish, you can start to talk about these things, but even then they could still have a 9. But if it's a reg, you just can't make an argument like, I put them on 5s because they won big blind flop. It's just not how people play in this day and age. It'd be nice if it
Regs will
was.
know this is a gross flop as well, pretty much, or like a reasonably gross flop in this formation.
The thing with 777 is that it's going to actually just like 3-bet the flop to the small raise size very often in the spot. So I actually don't think
That's
so.
true, actually.
I actually am pretty confident that we're going to see either a 9 or a bluff here. And I'm going to guess that Villain just has 10-9 because it's like if you had a gun to my head and you were like, you know, Pete, you have to say what his hand is or like, you know, you're gone. I would definitely say his hand is 10-9 suited. And then if you made me pick a suit, I would have to guess the suit and I would choose...
Clubs, surely.
I'm going to choose spades. I'm going to say it's 10-9 of spades. Okay,
This
Justin,
might be a bot.
reveal.
Oh god, it's pocket tens.
It's jacks.
Oh my
Okay.
god, I hate them so much. There's so much
Yeah.
of this, man. There's so much of it. They're everywhere. I'm telling you guys, they're everywhere.
I'm telling you, it's a mergy pool.
But
It's
what
a
are they
weird.
doing?
This is
Like,
actually a weird. This is a weird solver merge. Actually, you can look at it, but
do you
I'm
think this
assuming
is
Villain didn't know that.
RTA?
It could be because I'm supposed to call a 7 and I'm supposed to fold this.
Makes sense. Why? Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
very suspicious of someone that shoves jacks here that they're RTAing. Very suspicious.
It's kind of weird.
I don't think even like good players at 1K are finding that very often.
Yeah, this is
Maybe they just assume I'm gonna shove all my boats and they just ship it. But
I don't know, man. I'm just seeing this more and more and more. I think like I think in 2027 or 2026 maybe we're going to be fully in the era of the MDA reg everywhere, and like this is just going to become like the easiest block call ever on the river for you. I do feel like we're moving in that direction in a lot of pools.
Are you starting to agree with me about the Queen 10 being value?
No, I think Jacks is a bluff here. I think this guy's bluffing with Jacks here.
Not sure.
possible. Yeah, not sure what's happening.
I don't think it's value. Like I just don't see it the way you see it, Sam. I just can't imagine there's a guy that's
People
like
being that bad.
no, there's no one that's sitting there going, my jacks are now good, I shove for value. Just no, come on. Nah.
No, but you because
They either-
you find I might be wrong here, but is that because you find that anyone having that thought is absurd, right? Because you would never think like
No,
that.
I find like an absolute whale having that thought normal, but there just aren't that many absolute whales that are in the caliber where they think jacks is a value jam.
I don't think it takes an absolute whale to think like that.
I think to think jacks is a value jam here, you have to have severe difficulties, like in life as well as in poker.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that.
I don't know if it's that crazy. This spot is super weird.
Like for him to be
I don't
bluffing
know.
jacks, I have a lot of sympathy for the bluff with jacks. Like I have a lot of like I can see clearly how it can happen because you can be like, this guy's value range on the flop was like 10-8 and 5-8. And that's also what, and 6-5 on the turn, right? Like, he's got all of these hands, and there are a lot of range folds, as Bebla says, there are a lot of range folds here. I can get behind the Jack's Jam. I actually can, and it might be a very good play, but to, like, think it's value, you've, like, stumbled onto what might be a good play just based out of, like, sheer incompetence, and, like, maybe, like, 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000, who knows, but, like, super rare.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they're trying to bluff, but there is some knowledge of maybe they'll get called by a 7.
Yeah, maybe. I actually think it's a really good play to shove Jacks here, like, against the average human, but
I have to know the reason. I have to know the reason why they do it to know whether it's good or not.
they
Did reach out to Villain 28 in your study group.
Okay, well, let me rephrase. I think it's a very high EV play what Villain's done here against Pool, which makes me
yeah,
think,
and I
like,
see what your reasons are because you're like thinking you can get.
thing is, if you're always giving up, it doesn't matter what I do. Like, if your range has no traps in it, or very few traps in it, it almost doesn't matter whether I check. Like, if your hand is air, it doesn't matter whether I jam or check, right? And this is where people need to, like, get away from the idea of, like, showdown value equals check. But when your range is, like, 8x, it really matters now what I do with Jacks. And I think it's better for me to jam it. Honestly, I think I get more than 66% fold equity specifically against the hands that beat me when I have Jacks. And if I can make that argument, I need to jam Jacks, right? And I can ignore all the times I win. I have this argument with students a lot where they're like, but you have showdown value, okay? You have your showdown value, why would you bet? And I'm like, because if you isolate yourself, if you just think about the Jacks against a straight, and then you ask yourself how often the straight's folding to the shove, and that answer's like, if that answer's 75%, then you're printing by shoving Jacks for 2x pot. You can just ignore the times you're winning. You really can. And that's what people are starting to realize. That's why you're beginning to see this more and more. And that's why I'm now very paranoid and scared of the MDA reg everywhere, because it's everywhere now.
Well, also, like, I mean, the range of the of big blind here, like Paul's range here is often just like flush draws and straights, right?
Yeah,
like
give ups or straights.
counterfeit houses.
Yeah, so if they're folding straights at a good clip, like, it's enough. It's enough for you if they're folding the straight at a good clip. And the thing is, like,
but how do you compare that to also the EV of just like beating all give ups?
I just ignore them. I just
regardless.
ignore it. You just ignore that you're beating the give ups. You just ask how the fold equity is against the straights. That's all you need to do. You don't need to think about the give ups.
Bluffing against the air doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What did he have? Oh yeah, we just said that, Jack. I got so lost. I got so fucking lost in thinking about like ranges and what they could and what they couldn't. I completely,
quad sixes.
Oh, yeah. I'd be honest with you guys. I completely switched off for like a split second there.
What was our hand in this hand?
That's funny. You both just went, oh my God. Exactly.
Nobody fucking likes you, man.
I don't know. Do you know what? Because it's just like, it's such a head fuck, this site.
Can anyone tell me who that quote's from?
What was the quote?
Nobody fucking likes you, man. Let's see if chat can tell us. Oh my God, my ears started ringing again. I had them washed out by the nurse the other day. Like,
by the man who like does my petrol.
No. She actually got like this big like syringe thing, and then there was this machine, and it pumped like lots of hot water into my ears, and then like a bunch of stuff fell out. It was great.
Is it satisfying?
Yeah, it was a really good feeling. I'm gonna ask for it again, like even if I don't need it, because it was just like a really satisfying like experience. I was like, thank you so much for that. Like, really, really, truly, thank you. You know.
Yeah. Fair.
MDA Reg is the guy that uses mass data like based stuff to make plays like shoving Jacks for 2x pot there. MDA Reg is the fly that lands on your cake as you're trying to eat your food.
Berkey, no. Berkey's like, can I use this word? Can
Don't
I say
insult Berkey on Carrot Corner, Sam, because he's a big proponent of Carrot Corner. He does a lot for us in his podcast.
I don't. Okay, well, can I give my opinion and not?
Yeah, you can give an opinion. Yeah,
Peter Clark and Carrot Corner.
Exactly.
Berkey is very questionable pre-flop, and then decides to play theory post-flop with his
But he's on live
Fucking
streams, right,
Jack Real.
where he has to like play more hands to get invited back and get to play with the airball.
I think that's how he plays.
Okay.
Anyway, whatever.
Berkey, respond. Oh no, the podcast is ending. They won't see this in time to respond. That's a real shame.
Why are they ending it? No one watches it.
I did hear that.
It's sad, man. I think it's
Not
because
that no one watches the part, but I don't know.
I think the industry's just like kind of struggling a lot, and like it's just not worth it for
That's
them.
a shame.
It's a high production show, you know. They put a lot of effort in.
I have watched it before. Like, it is good. But it's like, I'm not your friends. You probably all hate each other. Anyway, I'm feeling cynical. At least we admit we don't like each other.
Yeah, exactly. I hate you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Not sitting there like fucking guapo pretending to like you.
Guapo. Who's Guapo?
It's one of the guys on OnlyFriends.
Ah.
Small and villain calls cut off, and the turn is the Queen of Spades. And we check, and that's surprising to me because I would always bet, and I'm not saying that's wrong, but whenever like I see a good player play a hand in a way that I wouldn't, I'm like, huh, okay, what's going on? So what's going on, Justin?
I think queen turn we have to be kind of careful, and I just mix this. I think at this depth, check raise is fine. We're not going to get 3-bet shoved on if we check raise really. So
I don't
think
like check raise because I think that by the time somebody bets here, deep in this spot, a bit deep in this spot, well, no, you're very deep in this spot. I feel like they're probably, it depends on the sizing actually, but if they go big in this spot, I actually don't like check raising because I feel like they're just really strong and people get pretty scared at this stack depth in this spot. So for that reason, I just bet and consume the fold equity on that node rather than like face the range that I feel is like too much ace queen or something. That's just my take.
I should mention their size. Yeah, if they go 75, I might legit consider this check folding. And yeah, it sucks we fold their equity, but it's not a spot I expect them to bluff a ton. So we might just be able to to get away from a range that's a lot of ace queen plus, right?
Mhm.
Or ace king. We can probably make them fold ace king by river, but
Yeah,
they
true.
have so much ace queen, I would think.
They do. Yeah, ace queen's a real problem here. I think I just bet and hope that they don't play
You have
enough
to bet
raise.
big.
Yeah, just bet big here. Yeah.
No, sorry. I said you don't have to bet big necessarily.
You can play a smaller sizing too. I think
Yeah.
I'd play a bigger sizing mostly. Not like an overbet necessarily, but like a bigger sizing.
People are saying the audio's
Yeah, I don't
skipping.
know why. There's nothing I can do about it. If my 4G connection decides to be a pain in the ass, there's not a lot I can do. It just happens. Got 4G router, guys. I live in the countryside. Sucks.
Oh, just moved to London.
I know, right? Too late.
Yeah, I
I
think
checked so I
I'd
could
go
do this on the river.
target third pairs.
Man, it's so hard to look at lots of Justin's hands because your head begins to ache. Because he makes you think about stuff.
You haven't even seen the bad ones yet.
So
There's a king's hand.
yeah. I mean, this makes sense. Like we can have he's checked back, he's pretty capped here. We can have ace 5 plus, we can have ace queen plus. Can we shove ace 5 here for the sizing? Probably.
Yes, on this website.
Yep.
I think ace 5 is fine regardless.
Yeah, probably.
Ace 8's probably gonna bet the river, and ace queen or bet the turn, and ace queen also.
Yeah.
Almost always.
And the main thing you want to block here is definitely ace 5. So
We don't
fives.
block that, but we block fives.
we don't block ace 5, we block 5s. Yeah, okay, fair. And we block our hand, the 4 or 5 of hearts. That might be like, I call you because I got good blockers. I don't know, it's getting very meta.
You think they're calling with 5, 4, 5
No,
as well?
no. I don't in real life, but it's just like an interesting idea. And it's also like probably not a bluff catcher and probably shouldn't call. But I'm just braffing here. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think I agree about the turn that should probably bet.
Mm-hmm. Would you guys like to see, what kind of streams would you like to see? Because we are going to stream a lot more. Would you like to see live streams of me playing? Would you like to see other people playing? Would you like to see sit in, sit out stuff? Just constant grind? Session graph in the corner of the screen? Would you like that? Would you like to see
Spin and goes.
spin and goes? No, we're never doing that again. Ever. We did that once and it was depressing.
Sit and goes.
No. Okay, we'll do this hand, then I'm going to take a quick break. Let you guys chat. Let you guys chat to chat. I know you need to go at some point.
Yeah, I have to go.
That's all right.
Unfortunately. I'll go after this one.
No worries. I know you have to go to bed at some point, Justin, as well, because it's like ridiculous o'clock. What is it, like 2:39 a.m.?
5:30.
Oh, okay, you're like mountain time
East
or
Coast.
It's coming up to my morning. I'm Eastern,
oh, you're Eastern. Okay,
the latest time zone.
4-bit pot, a bit small. We check turn. Interesting. It's a really interesting node. So obviously, I think check is fine. I think our hand really likes betting. I don't know why I feel that way. I'm not sure. Might not even be justified. It's just an instinct.
I thought it was a pure check.
Really. It's just so high equity though, right? Like I get it. Like we have the diamonds. We're not worried about like that. Maybe it is.
It's high equity, but it's
Got the
SPR1.
diamonds. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe it's a pure check.
Yeah.
Because we can always just like urgency's low. We can just go for value on river anyway. Yeah.
And we just kill all the bluffs.
We kill all the bluffs and we want like king jack of spades to start bluffing or yeah, okay. I'm gonna sim this one. It's a really interesting spot. What is it? Button cutoff. What's stack depth? 100? Bit more?
Just call it 100. It's
Call it-
basically 100.
Call it 100, okay. I'm intrigued by this one actually. So let's bring up Lizard. Was button cutoff, was it?
Yeah.
Just tell me the action again. So open 3-bet,
Open 3-bet,
Right.
4-bet.
4-bet call, and flop was
Ace, queen.
Ace, queen, 9,
suits.
I think. Ace, queen, 7?
Ace, queen, 7, maybe. Oh, just have a look.
Not ace.
7 of diamonds, ace of hearts, queen of spades. Small.
Small.
Oh,
Yeah, just range.
9D.
and then 9 of diamonds. Oh, I'm hiding the top of the range. Yeah, it's doing a lot of betting.
Whatever.
Are there really any like pure checks in this spot? Just aces, really?
Sets. Oh, no, just aces.
Just aces.
I mean, the question is like, how are they reacting to bet? How are
Yeah,
they
exactly.
reacting?
I'd rather check our hand, I think. And then no, I don't know actually.
I think
It's funny because I looked this one up in game with probably slightly different ranges, and I saw ace, king, of diamonds as a pure check, but these are super sensitive.
You looked it up in game? While
In game, I
playing?
played it as a pure check. I looked it up after.
Yeah, I know what you meant. I just wanted to
That's
call you an
awesome, yeah.
RTA cheater. You're a cheater. You're an
Nice
RTA
try, Pete.
cheater.
Nice try.
Nobody fucking
Nice try.
likes you,
Else-
man.
How do you think I make it on ignition?
Right.
Yeah, you have to.
So if we did
That's
check,
awesome.
what's their level of bluffing meant to be? I feel like people are gonna wait. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong here, guys, but I think there's a meta at these low SPR spots between regs where like the reg in position is almost like expecting slow plays and like waits to river to bluff and wants to realize their gutter and stuff like that. But that might just be projection.
It's reasonable.
I don't know if they reopen King Jack. I'm thinking squarely about like King Jack and King 10 here because these are the hands that like it matters most against what we do. And I feel like they don't bet at that frequency. If we check, they just realize. So I feel like I just want to bet. Maybe that's why I wanted to bet. I don't really know.
I just think that we were starting to check into an underbluff.
Right.
4-bet pot, ace high flop.
Equally, probably an over. Is it an overfolded one actually? If we start tripling, like if we
I don't even think it is
no.
anymore, to be honest.
Ooh, the Jack River. God,
We can't see. You can't see.
what's your fault?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Check fold.
So to bluff us here, what does he need to do? He's to take King
Okay.
Jack
8.
and like have been betting it at an obscene frequency on the turn and also on the river. And like King 10 gets there, all his other value can still shove probably, or most of it. Yeah, so it's like a really bad spot.
There's eights. There's 8-7. There's 7-6.
True.
There's maybe some small pocket
Does
pairs.
eight's not
but
just
yeah,
fold flop mostly?
mostly. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think there might be traces.
I like the fold.
What do you have? What do you have?
Don't know.
Look it up.
Let me look it up.
Look it up. If you're gonna play an ignition,
Okay.
at least look it up.
Yeah.
The least you could do is look it up. Right, guys,
I
I'm
go
gonna
through
take.
stretches of looking up a bunch of these hands.
Well, wait for him to come back with the. Wait for Justin to come back with the thing. Because then I
Okay.
gotta go.
Okay, well, okay, I'll sit here for another
Yeah.
minute. And then what I'll do is I'm gonna go have a break, make a coffee, and I'll come back, and then we have another hour of the stream, and I would invite you guys to come on, get some hands reviewed, ask me questions. Like, I'll put the Zoom link in the chat here. Maybe we can get some guests, some other guests, because I know Justin needs to get to his bed as well. So, would anyone like to come on and talk to me? I'm not that
I can
bad
hang
a
out
guy.
for longer, actually.
All right, okay. If you want to hang out for longer, we can do that.
Yeah.
I'm not a bad guy, guys. You just act like it. Like, it'll be fine. You can come on. I'm not going to shout at you.
No, you're a nice guy.
It's not like you're
Okay,
going to come on.
just the nuts.
Just King 10 of... I'm going to guess the suit. Hearts. No, wait. Did you have a heart?
Nope.
Don't. Clubs.
Probably diamonds.
Nope.
Spades.
No ignition.
King 10 of spades. It's okay, fine.
You got there. Yeah.
We got there in the final. We listed all the other hands first. Yeah, so he did bet the King 10 on the turn. The thing is, if you go small on turn, people don't actually mix fold with gutter, I don't think, and they probably should in this spot. So you should just bet the turn. You should bet the turn.
You don't think people fold King 10?
Not if you go small enough, no. Because they are in
Yeah.
position and they can make the nuts and they can still bluff you. I feel like regs don't really fold King 10 there if you go small.
Okay, it was my interpretation. If I went third pot, they'd always fold King 10.
Well, go
I
quarter
just
pot then.
about.
I don't think they will.
I mean, I can, but
Just do it. Just go quarter pot, man.
Gentlemen, I must go. It's been a pleasure. Pleasure to meet you, Justin. I wish you the best of luck.
thank you. It was fun chat.
All right, Sam.
Mm.
Take it easy, mate. Hit me up on WhatsApp. Give me some voice notes to listen to later when I finish work, mate. Yeah?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, mate.
All right.
The sexy ones.
No, not those.
Oh, sorry, we're still on.
Yeah, but like you need to do that when wife's asleep. Like those are for
Okay.
later in the
Yeah,
evening.
it's a good way to end.
I meant
All right,
I
lads.
meant the decoy ones where like when she sees my phone and she listens to one, it's like a decoy one,
The
not one of the
decoy
real ones.
That's funny.
All right, mate. See you later.
All right, see you later. Bye bye.
Ciao, ciao. Okay, I'm gonna take a short break. Questions for? Do you want to break as well, Justin? Or
Yeah, probably. You said 5 minutes?
yeah, we'll take a 5. I'll be 10. I'll be closer to 10. So
Okay.
what I'll do is I'll play a collage of photos of me for everyone while I'm taking. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. I don't have any collages to show you guys, so you'll just have to sit and look at the screen or take a break yourselves. I don't know. We'll be 5 or 10 minutes, and you can skip
Yeah.
this if you're watching the VOD, and then we'll come back and do
I'll
some
be
more.
back.
But
probably
what I will
5.
do,
Answer some questions.
Okay, man.
Already.
off you pop, no worries. I will pop the link though into here, and if you guys want to actually come on the show, then you can do that, and you can ask me and Justin some questions about poker, or about your own poker problems, or whatever you want to do. Just let us know in the chat if you are coming on. I'll see you in the waiting room. There's the link if you want to join us. Right. See you in a bit.
Yep. See it.
Hello, hello.
Okay, I just got back a couple of minutes ago too.
I just got back right now, so I win. Um, anyone saying anything? Chat, what you guys say? Anyone want to talk poker, talk mental game, talk life? Jump on the call. Right, so we have more of your hands to get through.
Sent you 26. We got plenty.
We've got
You
lots to
can
get
speed
through.
review some if you want.
Yeah, let's do it. Pocket jacks, 3-bet, small blind versus cutoff. I hate this spot. I feel like every time I'm in this spot, I lose the pot. Do you ever feel that way?
Maybe not with jacks, but doesn't feel great.
No, I feel that way with jacks. I feel like I've never won a pot where I've flatted a 4-bet with jacks. Ever. Apart
You're
from...
not supposed to win that much, right?
True. Yeah, you're like fighting to get back a little bit of your 3-bet, basically, at this point. Now I feel like I win. But what do we do about it? Villain checks back in the 4-bet pot and queen, queen, jack. So just to think about this for a second, our range is going to be some 10s and 9s. Do you play cold call in the small blind firstly, like against open here?
Not usually against cutoff at 100 bigs. At 200, I would.
Okay. So we...
Yeah, I play it pretty differently, 100 versus 200.
So
I've been experimenting with some 20 big blind 3-bets out of the big, for example.
20 big blind 3-bets.
At 200,
I need to
yeah.
discuss this with you at some point. Yeah, that sounds really interesting. So we have less of the 10s and 9s. No, we are 200 deep. So yeah, we have less of the 10s and 9s in this node then. We're going to be more like jacks, queens, ace king, ace queen suited, suited broadways, some suited connector, ace 5 suited, type range.
Let me look. This is 200 zone. Okay, at 200 zone, to be honest, I'm probably just going to pure 3-bet a bunch
Okay.
of stuff from small blind cutoff just because I think this pool is kind of out of control with
Okay.
how much they open.
Yep. So then feels like villain at a stack depth should play some check because like aces and kings are not wanting to play for stacks here and they're incredibly stable and they must be driving like a check frequency, or what do you think?
I should maybe even lead sometimes.
If the-
Wasn't sure. I don't really know what's going on with ace queen off. I don't know if I can call that to the 4-bet, but I kind of think maybe not. So that's probably the main factor in whether we can donk or not. So I think given we don't have that, we probably just check range, and it's paired. That means a lot of our hands are kind of awful.
Mhm.
We don't really have sets aside from exactly this.
Yep. And then we build
Not
around
sure what they're going to check back on flop, but I think it might be weighted a lot toward kings aces.
I agree. Yeah,
Occasional trap.
I'd be really
Kings, queens,
surprised
aces.
if this was like ever ace 5 or anything like that, or if it was like commonly ace 5 or ace 10. I would expect this to be a hand that is going to now just underfold for the most part. It could be ace king at some frequency, but yeah, I think leading turn big is like pretty obvious here.
That's the same idea I got.
And shove. Yep.
Yeah.
And aces. Probably aces. Don't even think we need to check.
Other one, but kings.
Oh, come on. I'm not going to get anything right today. I thought
They're
aces
the
is more
same hand.
likely. Well, I thought kings is a bit less likely to check the flop because it gets a bit more useful fold equity against ace 5 or whatever, but
Sure.
yeah.
Arguably, it might not even always 4-bet, but realistically, it's always 4-betting.
True.
This is a hand I want to see.
Mm.
Want to see what we think about this.
So this looks like a kind of mixed spot with threes. Do you
I
roll
tend to
here or
just
do
mix these a
you...
lot, yeah.
Yeah, you don't really feel like you can...
Actually, when you open hijack, it's already such a low frequency open, it might be a pure defense.
Yeah.
I think. But
Okay, so villain checks on ace
Yes.
king jack monotone. What's your thought on how they're constructing that?
a lot of people, if they don't know what's happening, might just bet range. This is probably a bigger bet board just because neither of us really has that many flushes. So it kind of plays It kind of plays like a normal ace king jack where I just have a bunch of pocket pair plus flush draw and they want to bet big against that. In reality, what do they have? Could be all sorts of stuff. I'm just assuming it's one pair, two pair a lot.
Mhm.
Mostly one pair.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard for them to get to showdown here against aggression. That's my first instinct, is that like they will be check folding the flop like pretty rarely, and they might actually be making bad calls on the flop. Like if they have king queen here without a spade, the king queen of hearts or something, like are they even supposed to call the flop here? Is this like already just in diff?
Probably have to fold some ace-x.
Ace 5 feels
I
like a
think.
pure fold.
Yeah.
So I think flop's over
And I think I'm
defended.
supposed to bluff some non-spade hands on flop for sure. Probably primarily betting non-spade pocket pairs.
Yeah,
I would guess.
unblocker set draw feels pretty good.
We hit our set draw.
Set draw is a good term. All right, let's bring Akshar into the call.
What?
Bit of energy.
Hello?
You're very needed,
Hello?
mate.
Oh God. Oh my God, I'm the energy. Jesus Christ.
You're the energy. You've got a very energetic peach-colored hoodie on as well, so I think it fits the bill.
Oh. Well, I just came back from the most boring session I played in poker in a while. So yeah, I have all the energy. Let's go. Why are we? Oh, I see. Whose hands are these? Are these your hands, Pete?
No, these are Justin's hands. Sensei
Never
Justin.
mind. Yeah. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, okay.
So I was saying about the flop that, like, well, Justin and I were saying that they're probably going to underfold the flop when they check here, but then overfold later would be my prediction.
Okay, fine. I can see that.
Set's pretty mediocre now. Seems like a check.
I don't know what is happening on turn, but
It feels
betting
like
seems like it could be bad.
it feels
and
like
checking seems like
betting's
it's not.
yeah, betting's got to be bad because like we might get raised by the queen of spades, which is very commonly here, and we also just lose to all the bigger sets that are pure continuing, and we get called by very yeah. I mean, betting is absolutely incompetent here. Surely, this is
No,
the
I think we
Indian
have a
destroyer.
value bet maybe.
No,
But
no, come on.
they check raise a lot of sets on flop. They don't have many low spades.
There's no way
They
this is a value bet though,
small blind versus
because
hijack.
why would you want to reopen when the investment ceiling for the hand is like just not stack? Like it can't be stacked. Like if you value bet here, you have to check the river, right? If it's non-pairing.
Yeah, it's not stacked.
And if it is pairing, like it's still not even that great a spot. Yeah, I feel like I would just pure check the turn. I'd really like it if they would bluff ace queen on the river as well. Like I want to give them the chance to do
Sure.
that. God. What a disgusting spot. Okay, so what do we know? We know that when people check these kind of spots, they have a lot of medium stuff. We also know that they don't have any conventional air at all, which means that if they're going to bluff us, they have to literally bluff like two pair or something. So like, I think I'm not calling, I don't think. I feel like this is a really underbluffed. Do I want to jam as a bluff? Like, I don't know, it's too painful to think about.
I don't even why? What is going on? Is my
The spot is so stupid.
Like, I would just fold the river and move on. Like, that's what I would do, but
I would fold 100% of the time.
I think we've done something otherwise here, or I don't think the hand would be on the show. Chat, what do you think Justin's about to do here?
It's about to jam all in. What's a bluff? I just don't see someone bluffing here.
Or bet,
Like they have to be.
or betting that thinly for value either. Like, I don't see them betting like a straight for value or like a bad flush
Yeah, that's the
particularly.
thing. That's kind of weird, but the thing is, like, what do they need to bluff here? They need to bluff like an ace. They have to bluff top pair, that like ace 5, ace 6, ace 4. They have to turn top pair into a bluff,
If they've
right?
even called flop with that, like I would just snap fold that on flop on this texture. Like it's such an awful hand to check call with.
Yeah. If they check called it on the flop, then yeah, they need to turn top pair into bluff.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not.
Which they could maybe do, but like they have to get here with it, and it's just so likely that they have like a spade.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think it's likely because like the 10 of spades is
Ace
here.
queen off.
Well,
Ace 10.
ace queen off,
11 is
tens with a
king
spade,
queen off.
nines with a spade. These seem pretty likely because people play 3-bet or fold
Sure.
and they like don't play cold call.
I
And
mean,
like
it's quite tight position. Hijack versus small blind as well. It's not like he's got tons of air that pulls the flop.
he has
So
to bluff
basically, you're
king
saying
queen of
that
diamonds and stuff.
yeah, he has to turn two pair into a bluff, and he has to bluff ace six that he 3-bet free. Yeah,
His king queen of hearts. Well played, villain. Really well played.
well played to him.
Yeah. I don't know about us. I don't know if we can take the credit for this one or whether we can chalk this one up to like I don't know. You are playing 500 here, and if it's a capable, I hate that word, but if it's a reg that like knows what's going on, you have a catcher. A catcher is a catcher is a catcher. You know, it's like can't be too bad, but
Pretty good catcher
great catcher.
because it.
You might want to look at this one though, because
unblocks.
king queen's an overbluff.
Is it?
Yeah,
Then
It might be an overbluff,
but
it
it's
also-
close. It's close.
Yeah,
So
it
you're
might be
saying-
an overbluff, but
sorry, extra going.
I was gonna say it might be an overbluff, but like that's if they have like the full GTO range, right? Like if they have all the pre-flop bluffs and they like get to the river in this node as well, like it's a bit weird. I don't know, like doesn't feel like an overbluff to me, but fine, all right. Because it's such a board, right? That like you have to find something.
This hand
Yeah,
is
it was
wild.
close. I think king jack can or queen jack.
This is so fucking wild, this hand, man. This is like one of the craziest hands of poker I've ever seen.
What site is this on?
Ignition.
Ignition 500.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Feels like a bot. Anyway, let's carry on.
That was Sam's response as well. It's just like probably about
Yeah, probably a bot. Okay. Three-handed. Interesting. Fine. Is there
This
a king?
is it's not zone. It's just a reg table.
Okay, fine. Get raised on the flop. Okay. I mean, I'm not folding, so, but I think there is merit to having a re-raise range here.
definitely.
But yeah,
If people aren't raising king queen enough here, then I would start to shove king jack for the reason that I think they're going to be to draw heavy and bluff heavy and just like just clean. And I'm probably felting like clean runouts anyway. I don't know. I feel like I'd probably
yeah, I think
shove.
I think I'm just putting a lot of this combo in on the flop, or like you're not getting away from pocket fours or pocket sixes. So
I don't know. Like,
I'm
what's
just
their
gonna-
raising range for value meant to be? 4s, 6s, king, queen sometimes, but not much. Then ace, king probably is quite a big one in there, right?
Yeah, exactly. But like they're not meant to have much raises at all. So it's kind of like they've decided to build a raising range, and this is what they get to the flop with, right? So it's kind of, I mean, I don't know. You can probably just do whatever you want here with
Yeah.
this combo.
My instinct is that this is like likely to get overbluffed just because like it's a spot where once you open the can of worms and start pressing the raise button, like it's
That's
really
what I'm
hard
saying,
not
yeah.
to overbluff, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they're not meant to have many raises at all,
Mhm.
which a lot of people would just play call only. And if they do decide to play raises, it's very easy to just be like, I'm going to raise all my 8-7, and I'm going to raise a bunch of my flush draws.
And
I'm
my
gonna raise
ace
some
queen with
bottom
a
pair.
club or something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think people raise just a7, ace8 or other spews? So I was kind of thinking just call down.
Maybe, yeah. It's possible that like raise bet. It's possible that check call is, or check call, check jam, depending on the turn. Like on double flush draw, I'd probably just jam. But like on single flush draw, check call could be better. The reason I was thinking about jamming is more just that like if they have an ace in their hand and then they have like a bunch of draws, like there's still 2 cards to come, like we're always going to be leaning some amount here. And I don't know what their follow through Like, while I think flop could be overbluffed, I don't really know what the follow-through frequency of, like, the raise bet is, if that's still overbluffed, or whether they're giving up river a lot, like when they have, like, 10-9 of clubs or something, because they, like, just randomly see 4 green cards and check. I don't know.
This is
Yeah.
such a wild. Sorry, you go for it.
Oh, that's just a blind spot of me because I'm definitely playing 3-bet here. I didn't think about ripping this hand, but it's should definitely think about it.
It's actually a wild turn spot because I had a suspicion, so I decided to look it up while you guys are talking, and I was like, I don't know why, I just thought maybe we can just start like leading, and funny enough, this hand just jams the turn as out of position.
Double flush draw.
It's
Yeah.
just-
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
It just goes, fuck you. You've got ace 10 of clubs or whatever you have.
4 or 5
whatever
or
hand-
something. Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck. That's so funny.
I like that.
I didn't think this would be a jam, but I was just like, maybe you can, because the queen like makes us pocket queens, king, queen, things like that.
Yeah,
so, like,
and villains
maybe
like
you can just start investing.
yeah, it's a really bad card for villains range, and they're going to be incentivized to check back. Like, it's a sort of card that gives them second pair a lot or just nothing, and therefore it's just going to drive up their check button, basically.
Not only that, but you don't want them to like be able to just raise the flop with all their draws and like get
Realize.
to see 2 cards, right?
Yeah, that
It's not
insults me.
really that's one of the reasons why you want to like have a 3-bet range on the flop as
Yeah.
well. But yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
cool. All right, so I guess we do the standard check and then we block the river. Okay.
It makes some sense because they've just hit a queen sometimes. Again, Justin, like, I think every time you B33 the river, I just want to, like, have a smaller block in my game for a spot like this. And that's...
I want to jam.
I don't want to jam.
Why?
Because I want to leave the door open for them to bluff, because I think they've just got a ton of air
You think they're gonna bluff this spot?
sometimes. I don't know, I'm seeing more and more of that. I mean, it's really kind of a dumb spot to bluff, actually. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just getting ahead of myself. I do see a lot of... I've just been talking about this today, like this year, I've just seen like so much more bluffing in all these kind of spots against blocks than I've ever seen previously, and it's just become somewhat of an epidemic, or it's becoming somewhat of an epidemic, maybe. Maybe not.
I just think his range becomes a lot of second pair and worse top pairs, maybe sometimes like king 10, something like that. And I don't see why we should be blocking, because it is against a human. Like, he doesn't have many slow plays on the turn, and he's just got like ace queen of clubs, queen jack of clubs, queen 10 of clubs that on ignition I don't think they're going to fold if we jam here, because there's like 2 flush draws out there, so I don't think they're going to fold as much.
That's
as they should.
interesting,
They're just gonna
actually.
jam.
That's an interesting line. Justin, what do you think?
I think this is probably objectively the worst hand I played that I posted. And well, I should just shift the river or check. We have the nuts, right?
Yeah, exactly. We have the nuts, and he's got a lot. Well, I mean, he's either got second pair or air, right? And I just don't know if people really like just raise all in here with their
I
busted
prefer
stuff here.
like a block to a check, like a small block to a check, because at least you still make something from the queen, and then you might get like, if you check, villain's probably gonna check back 4 or 5 or something like that, pure, or ace 3 pure. If you block, like, there's some chance they just like decide they can bluff you. So that's what I was thinking with B10. But yeah, shove is actually maybe just better.
It's true they might raise a lot of second, third pair, even under pair on flop or something. So they have some bluff catchers they could feasibly just hero with, and a queen.
Yep. They could have like 6-7, right? Like, some people play that as a raise on flop. It's a bit weird, but some people do.
They could call with deuces. I don't know.
Yeah.
If they have a bluff catcher and they look at this board and they think you have any bluffs, there's some frequency of call, right? Like, it's
Even
not
for jam,
non-zero,
yeah.
so-
There's a world where like
so-
4 or 5 just calls here, yeah, if you shove.
Exactly. They just like look at the board like, oh, 2 flush draws missed. He jams. Oh, okay. Oh, fuck. This is why I don't do this shit, because now I don't know. I don't know if this is overbluffed or what. I don't know. This is why I don't do this.
I just don't understand like what he's saying he has. Like, I don't really get it. Like, what you checked back a set on double flush draw? Like, what are you saying, man?
He's saying he raised pocket threes. with a club
Or
on the
he has
flop
king
and-
queen. I guess he's saying he has king
King
queen.
queen.
Nah, I just
They
call.
check the turn.
I don't believe.
I don't.
I'm a non-believer, but like, I'm very suspicious of like this
What's
sort
this?
of
It's like
line.
26%.
The reason I'm suspicious of this sort of line is
Yeah.
that like, if you ever bluff here because you just like are that guy, you just are over bluffing by like a ratio of like 30-1 or something, and it's just stupid. And if you're not bluffing, like, okay, you've got very lucky to have a better hand than King Jack here. Like, if villains had to get extremely lucky to beat King Jack, And there are people who do this as a bluff when you bet small. I just don't think I can bring myself to fold here, but I'm very sticky in these spots, I have to say.
Yeah, I think fold is probably losing 90, 100 big blinds.
Fuck.
But then I looked it up and he had a set, so I don't know. It's sixes,
Wow. Yeah,
which
I
is
mean,
I just completely misinterpreted what was happening, I think.
It's weird.
On the river too. I didn't realize how strong this hand was.
It's also weird though that like it's such an
It's crazy you
unappealing
got
line
sixes.
to try to bluff. Like if you have half a brain, it's like very clear that you're repping only a few bizarrely played value hands. So a lot of people are never going to do this as a bluff, but the ones that will are just like skewing the data hugely.
I find it really odd that he checked sixes on the turn.
Oh yeah, it's so
So-
bizarre. It's like 1 in
It's-
20 type thing. That's why I would call river. It's just like if like it's like actually you did this to me once when I was drunk and we were playing live and you like checked back the turn with some second set hand and then raised the river and I just like stationed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like that was because I really wanted to own you and be able to brag about it, but it was also because like I just couldn't imagine you checking back the turn with like that much of the value stuff in the spot. And this
Yeah.
is another one of those spots where like if you have, it's almost like if he's weird enough to check back sixes on the turn here, he just deserves to take my money when I have King Jack because it's just like such an anomaly. I can't believe
Yeah, I
he
mean,
didn't
like-
get stacked here.
I don't know what I did. I just super leveled myself.
I mean, I think it's like it's so fucking weird. I don't even know what to say. It's just such an ignition hand, isn't it?
Mm.
But yeah. I don't think if I do end up blocking, I'm gonna level myself into calling here. So
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't need to level myself to calling. I'm blocking with the plan of calling here because like whenever villain has a vacant value range, and like I've given them room to do something, I
give them
just shrug.
chances,
I
yeah.
just shrug, you know. Like I'm not giving
You
a
just
guy
shrug.
with 0 value combos the chance to bluff and then fold. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, fine, nice hand though.
and it's fine because like if I stack off there and I lose, that'll happen like 1 time in a billion, so I don't even need to worry about the long-term implication of it. It's going to be like such an anomaly there if I've run into something in that line. Like
Exactly, it doesn't
it's-
happen very often.
I'm just not worried.
Sixes. See bet the flop.
What's up, Ian? Welcome to the stream. Okay, so under pair bluff with club, better outs. Yeah, looks like a mixed bet and give up to me. I think fold equity is bad for a street here against humans because you're asking them to like adapt to this run out, and especially because you guys are saying it's ignition. People are absolute handset driven. I would just give up.
I don't know how true that is actually though, because I read line on here and I get folds.
I
Fine.
would say
Yeah, everyone has.
They call down some garbage sometimes, but that just happens when people have wide ranges in fish.
sure. I would say like if you're gonna bet turn here, you just go for river too because I think turn's just gonna get underfolded.
I mean, if you decide to bet, yeah, then you're going for it, right? Like
think
you're
so.
basically, yeah.
2 and done strikes me
That's
as
the
bad
idea.
because like they just have either an ace, which is like ace 5 is now a fold if you bet the turn, but it's just unlikely to happen at the right clip, and then there's just so many natural 2 pair plus and pair plus draw that don't fold turn, so it's just like really bad to 2 and done here I think against a human.
Yeah, you're gonna have like all the queen jacks and stuff to fold the river.
And
I don't
I'm
mind
I
always
this
feel
triple.
like
go ahead, Justin.
I think people will fold an ace here on turn decently often, but it just depends on how bad the opponent is, and that's tough for me to evaluate. But
Yeah,
I haven't
mean,
seen this. I haven't seen this go check and lose to ace 5 a ton.
Yeah, but like ace 8 is a pair and a draw. Like it's literally just ace 5, ace 4 that they're gonna fold, right? If they're gonna fold.
King Jack, King
7.
10.
Yeah, these
Maybe.
hands definitely fold for sure. Sometimes they fold.
King
They
Jack
should
is
fold.
yes, but like human in position with pair and gutter, like getting facing less than pot. I don't know. I think it's like kind of 50-50.
I
Facing
think
3/4 pot and a 3-bet pot.
I know, but like maybe you're right.
I actually like the idea of like, I mean, if we weren't so deep, I would like the idea of like maybe like half potting turn, anticipating them calling all their queen jacks and their king jacks, and then like just jamming river as a bluff. Like keep their range wide enough and maybe give them incentive to call their ace fives. Like just keep their range a bit wider, right? And then like bluff them off that range on the river.
You're
But
trying
obviously we're
to
deeper here, so this is fine.
hungry horse them.
A little bit, yeah. Why not? Like if they're gonna they probably still have to fold some ace X to half pot and even some
Yeah.
like king 10 and king jack to half pots. So why not just like make it so they never fold, well, they never, very rarely fold those hands and then bluff them off those hands on the river. Yeah, seems fine. Anyway, so bluff turn. Cool. Not particularly upset about it. Oh, we check river. Okay.
This river's really quite weird. So, if we're saying that they're going to raise the turn too much with their
Not
good
saying
stuff, okay. You were saying if we went smaller, they would do that.
I'm just saying if we go smaller, they'll have more fold. They'll have a wider range on the river, and they'll likely fold that range more.
But if
Like they'll overfold that range more. I don't know
This-
if they're going to raise turn here. Probably they won't because it's so dry.
I think the smaller you go on the turn, the more their range is Queen X on the river, because they'll start to raise their like straights and sets at a frequency. So
Yeah, that's reasonable.
And I
So
also
you're saying you don't want to bluff?
I'm saying I don't want to bluff because I think they just have a queen very often here. And if they have a queen very, very often, GTO will be asking them to fold a non-queen, like almost pure, I would guess. And I don't know that they're going to fold a non-queen almost pure. Like, if you think about it, they have king-queen, offsuit and suited at some frequency. They have ace-queen. They have queen-jack suited, queen-10 suited. And then they have, like, what's the rest of their range? Like, I guess ace-jack suited, maybe a bit of ace-jack off, ace-10 suited. Not that many combos, a few sets.
Well, they'll have some Jack 9. They'll have some Jack 9. They'll have some 10 9.
Jack 9
maybe,
suited, 10 9 suited.
maybe not
Yeah.
10 9.
Yeah.
That much.
It's 2 pair and it's king jack, king 10 with clubs.
King Jack,
sometimes
King
no
10.
clubs.
Yeah, like I don't think there's anything wrong.
Yeah,
with
maybe
bluffing
like
this
half
amount.
pot's okay or something. Maybe you could like, yeah. I mean, definitely you need to like not shove or something ridiculous, but like if you go like half pot or something, maybe it's all right. Yeah. I think
I
it's,
thought river was a range check, so I checked.
Oh,
you thought it was a range check. That's interesting.
I don't know.
I don't think it can be a range check, right? Because you still have like king queen, ace queen. Sometimes
I don't know if you
still
bet.
have
You
some
don't bet ace
queen
queen for that
jacks.
sizing on turn. I don't think.
Probably not. No.
You actually
was
don't
my
have many
impression
queens at
anyway.
all. Yeah, you just have king queen basically, but it is a lot of
Guess you just have
combos.
king queen.
It is a lot of combos. So you can probably still play mostly check and a little bit of half or something.
I mean, does he bet like? Do you bet like queen jack and queen 10 as like a bluff?
You
knife?
probably should bet queen 10 for sure.
Queen 9, queen 10, I think.
Yeah, you've got a bet more than I thought then. So yeah, I think you can play some smaller bet here. Like sixes has got to be the best bluff. Because you're
It's a pretty good
unblocking
bluff,
two
right?
pair. Like if you can unblock two pair, it's very hard to unblock two pair in this spot for you. So if you can unblock two pair, then it feels like a small bet might be on the cards.
Yeah, I think that's good.
It's
Cool.
hardly
Yeah, I mean,
working.
I looked at the spot
Mhm.
and there's some shove as well because we have a bunch of king queen and they I think raise a bunch on flop.
Oh wait, king queen is the nuts.
Yeah,
It
king queen is
beats
the
a
absolute.
queen. Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
man. This is why I shouldn't
Yeah.
play poker. I'm just too old and slow. I'm just like, king queen is the same hand as queen jack. Like, no, Pete. No, it's
the
not.
king queen is the nuts. Yeah. Yeah, so you want to have some shots, but
Yeah, you want to have some shoves and you want to have some very small bets, and then you want to have a lot of checks, probably.
So what did you conclude, Justin? Like, what did you think that you should do now that you've seen everything?
Probably bluff for some size because it's so hard to have air and I actually have air here. So surely this has to bluff if I have a betting range.
Okay, yeah, fine.
I would also say
I
though that
think-
if you have Jack 10, you also have 0 showdown because villain will bluff anything worse and, you know, will check back only better. So you probably have the same showdown value as you have with two pair here, or with the worst two pairs at least in theory.
Yeah, but just 2 blank cards has to be good.
Yeah.
The only maybe better thing we can have is king 6 without a club, but I'm not really 3-betting that, so
Well, if you had kings, could you shove? You wouldn't bet the turn though. That's a shame.
Yeah, exactly.
If only we could get here with kings.
If only.
We'd
All right.
we'd shove. A fish would call us with ace queen. We'd feel like an idiot.
Mm.
That would be the end of the hand. Nikita, I think it's
Uh.
very like stake dependent. So a lot of people watching the stream are going to be playing low stakes, micro stakes, and if you're against some random that might be a fish at low stakes, micro stakes, honestly, just betting those rivers is going to suck like against the recreational player. As you go higher, as you come across regs like they're less awful at cards, like yeah, it's going to become good with the blank cards. Blank cards is a great pattern, by the way, because in so many spots, even pre-river, you're doing a lot of like heavy bluffing investments with like blank cards in favorable spots, like on the turn-in position, for example, and things like that. Thank you, Morgan. That means a lot. Glad you're enjoying the content. If you guys like this content, you want to keep watching Carrot Corner, check out Carrot
we
Corner.
do want some small
Actually, you're
bets, yeah.
interrupting my plug. Check
Sorry,
out
sorry.
carrotcorner.com after the stream and use code Stop Losing to save 20%.
Funny.
What were we saying?
I was gonna say, like, yeah, I guess we have some pocket sevens as well, so we want to have some small bets. That's it really.
I don't know if I'd even
Yeah, next
bet
time.
with sevens. These
I think
are
Justin would. I think he would find the bluff.
Oh, on turn, sure.
on turn,
Yeah.
right. I thought you meant
Yeah,
river.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. These are some really funky hands, man.
This one's more normal, I think.
Okay, so are you playing overbet or check here? You playing big bet? You playing small bet?
125.
Like it. I would bet your hand
Probably
quite a lot.
allowed to bet, but not
Yeah,
super.
I
without a heart,
I
but
don't know. I think like
it's all right.
yeah, like as these boards get more and more connected, like the immediate draws become a bigger part of the betting range. But like it's just such a good world that like Queen 8 probably gets in there at like global clip or slightly under global clip or something. You block like the raises as well with 8 of spades here because there'll be some like Jack 9 of spades, Queen 9 of spades, 8 9 of spades raising flops. So I think this is a pretty high frequency one. Okay, so I'm playing gigantic raise here when I'm raising usually, or maybe smaller raise like as well if I'm playing against someone I think is capped. I can get behind either.
I don't know what you don't think, but I like raising these spots a lot versus
Yeah,
small
same,
turn.
same.
Are you gonna like go all in or something?
I think that's
Yeah.
good. I think that's good.
Yeah.
All in's good.
I think
Boring
all in.
hand.
I mean, it's not boring for chat because like you have to remember who your audience is here. For chat, like not many people watching this. It's 38 people watching this. Like how many of the 38 people watching this have ever gone all in on the river as a bluff for, 6x pot or 5.7x pot?
It's 6, right? Yeah, it's almost 6.
Probably no one has done this. So, or like if maybe one person has done this that's watching out the 38. So this is definitely not trivial. And it's important to understand why this play might be good. And the idea is that as you drive fold equity up towards infinity, wait, that's dumb, 100%, you just basically, imagine talking about an infinite percent. You basically just have very, very high EV and you claim the entire pot. So like at the point where villain's folding 100%, the EV of your play is 20.22 big blinds. And now as villain starts to fold, let's say only, well, what does this need to be as good as checking back and always losing? Right? Okay, you don't always lose because he has like 6-5 of hearts, but what's the math? You're going 6x pot almost. 5x pot comes in at what? 1 to win.
85-ish again.
85-ish, and then 6x pot would be like 90. What does it go up to?
It's 6/7 is
Yeah.
85.
Right, okay. So given that you do win against a tiny portion of villain's range by checking, you then need like slightly more than that again. So if you're getting 90 here, you're already fine. And if you're getting 95 here, then you're absolutely printing. And I do think you're getting that easily. I do.
I mean, he does have some Queen 9, right? And like ace, maybe has no ace queen. Actually, he has no fucking. He blocked the turn. Yeah, this guy's like completely fucked, isn't he?
Mhm.
Yeah.
No ace queen, queen 9 blocked and didn't 3-bet.
Yeah, it's
Didn't do
too
that,
unlikely.
yeah.
It's just
It's
too
like-
unlikely. Like you
I
have
just
to.
wonder if we just go like 3 times pot. It's just a nitpick. Like rather than just jamming, we just go like 60 big blinds. Does that not do enough? Does that not?
That's what Nikita's point is as well.
Uh,
In chat here, and I think that's a valid point. But I think we underestimate the elasticity of that because
maybe we do. Yeah.
I've looked
maybe
at
we
some
do.
solver stuff, and the all in for like massive sizes just does seem to like make a difference. Because like if you had Queen 9 here, I think it would make a difference. Like I can see someone folding Queen 9 to this with 3x pot. I know they don't have that, right? And that's kind of our argument, but just to like make a point about elasticity. I don't know. It's so hard to know.
Folding
Right?
Queen 9 is kind of ludicrous, but if they fold everything worse, that's
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
they
think
might
it's
fold
ludicrous
Queen
at
9,
all.
but-
I don't think it's ludicrous. Like if you're playing this game and they don't know you, they don't know that you're an aggro reg or whatever, and they see this, like this is just so off an ace queen. Like I don't know. It's probably right to fold Queen 9. I don't think you win 46% of the time with Queen 9 against an unknown here.
I'm just gonna shove Queen 9 also, but
Doesn't
It
matter.
is more ace queen, I guess.
It doesn't matter because like you
It
might
doesn't
not.
matter if I'm not bluffing, sure.
You might, well, if you're under bluffing and you might not shove Queen 9, like it. Remember that's 46 required, right? It's pretty difficult to be doing well
Yep.
here when villain has all the ace queen. Also, you check
Honestly,
the
I'll
fucking
probably
flop.
call Queen 9.
You check the flop. Like if you have Queen 9, you're more likely to bet the flop because that's how humans play.
Sure.
And if you have ace queen, you're a bit more likely to check the flop relative to Queen 9. So like I don't think it'd be too absurd to fold Queen 9 here, but
Sure.
If I face this line in pool, I would snap call Queen 9. Not because I think that it's overbluffed on bluff, just because I think this looks so dumb. It's probably a robot, so I'm not folding anything that is 2 pair. I wouldn't even fold 2 pairs if I saw this line. Like I just think that this is just too likely to be something insane, so I'm just gonna hit call on ignition. On like GG, I'd snap fold. On ignition, if I had fucking 10
Sure.
I'm hitting call.
sure.
So I don't even know how good this is. But that's me. Obviously, the pool, like they will fold 2 pairs, they'll fold top pair for sure. I'm just saying that if I saw this line and I only played like 5 hands with someone, I would call on ignition.
There is an
Yeah.
argument.
I guess the thing is, it just takes one hero to screw this bluff
Yeah.
up.
Yes. And there's an
Exactly.
argument for something like the guys who are folding King Queen and King Jack are just folding that to any sizing, and then the guy that's heroing you is kind of not making a decision based on the pot odds anymore. He's making a decision based on like some mood he's in or read or like recent experience, and then those decisions would apply to all of your sizes.
Yeah.
And then Nikita's
Like
point
it-
about going 3x might be better because there aren't that many individual humans who are elastic to that difference. Maybe. I don't know.
That's the problem. Like you see a few clairvoyant hands where people do some random ass jams, then the next day you don't fold to these random ass. I'm not saying this is a random jam. I'm just saying like you see it, right?
Mhm.
You see it in pool. You see it in clairvoyant hands. Oh, these guys are just jamming like 5x pot. With
Yeah,
pair.
and it's becoming
You
more
see two
prevalent.
of them. You see 2 of them, and you're like, I'm never folding again.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's just kind of like that.
Yeah, no, totally. It's easy to overestimate your fold equity here then. Yeah, okay.
But also, you're supposed to bluff.
Yep.
Almost half the time for 5x pot.
Yep.
So you're supposed to see bluffs when you look at those hands.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
100%, but it's kind of one of those things. It's like Bayesian, right? If I see a bluff in this spot, then it's more likely to be overbluffed, right? Because it's such an absurd spot. So like because you've jammed all in for 6x pot, the guys that jam all in here for 6x pot are probably overbluffing relative to the guys that are just like betting a normal size when they have ace queen, right? So because it's such an extreme spot, it's kind of like the CV hands are like very valuable in this spot if you think about it, like because there are not that many people even at 501k that are willing to shove 6x pot here as a bluff, right? So the people that do are likely to be the ones that are over bluffing.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think that's becoming more and more the case as these sizes are being unlocked by more and more regs and reg communities, whereas like back in the day, these sizes were usually a greedy fish. But now they're kind of like MDA stables and like groups of friends sitting there planning this out and stuff more often. So no doubt if you made a call here as big blind with like 2 pair or 1 pair in like 2018, you would just get
You get
absolutely
hemorrhaging.
destroyed. If you do it today, like, and you've got the right player type breed, you're probably winning with that call actually. So it's
Even if you're not winning, like let's say like you are slightly under bluffing, right? You're still like not hemorrhaging as you would be in like 2008 or something. If you called here with 2 pair, you're just massively hemorrhaging. But nowadays, like even like a semi-competent reg will find, I say it's people that jam this spot basically will have some bluffs, essentially, right? So you can never be like hemorrhaging with a bluff catcher here.
Yeah. I mean, like the orange guy. I don't know what that means, Nikita. If
I
it's the
feel
same
some
as like.
that's me. 'Cause what's the cognitive
Oh,
trap?
right. She's talking about because of your hoodie. I was imagining like the orange player tag, which means like aggro reg for me or whatever.
I feel some cognitive trap. I wonder what the cognitive trap is.
Yeah.
But from the data that I've seen, usually if I look at like when people do this all-in stuff, like usually it is too strong, but it's funnily enough like the size with the most, and it should be, but it's the size with the most amount of bluffs, which it should be obviously. But the thing is, it's likely skewed with the fact that some people are just massively over bluffing it, and some people just never bluff it, right? And the people that never bluff it are likely to be fish.
Yeah.
So yeah.
At least personally, though, I had to look at some of my own stats for really big river bets, and I found that I thought I was doing a good job, but I found I was under bluffing kind of dramatically. It can be hard in some spots to bluff enough. You need to bluff a
Yeah,
lot.
I think that board in particular is kind of hard to bluff. I won't lie. Like that board is like 3 Broadway, like connected, and like I think that's like a good spot for you to definitely do it. Dude can underbluff. Dude can underbluff like bluff 40% and still underbluff. Yeah. I'm not saying that it's not underbluff. I'm just saying you won't be hemorrhaging by calling because in the past it'd be like 5% weak or something. But nowadays, like even if they're underbluffing like a few percentage points with that size. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Ruby.
It's
And
still
We
a
can show this
fold.
next.
And it's important to know
Go
your
ahead.
own pool. So, like, if Ruby's saying, like, in my pool, there are way more people that just only have ace queen than people that find bluffs with queen eight, then absolutely. That's actually why you hemorrhage by calling this at, like, 50 NL or something, is that, like, the guy that's able to do it as a bluff is just too rare. And, like he's over bluffing, but he's, like, one in, like, I don't know, 10 people
Yeah,
who do
like
this.
even
So.
here, it's probably still a losing call against population. Like I'm just saying that it's not as losing of a call as it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, another thing is, like, to be in the mood to shove ace queen, it's very easy. Like, not many things need to be true. To be in the mood to want to bluff a 7x pot, you either need to be playing A game, fearless, up money, not on a downswing. Like, who makes this bluff when they're, like, getting smashed for the day? Like, not many
I
people,
don't.
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
This is a confident all in, right?
Yeah.
Like this is not. So yeah.
Okay, we can show this next hand. Roll it once, and we're just not going to talk about it.
Okay.
All right.
I sense, I detect shame.
I don't know if it's shame.
So we go for the large size. Fine. So is anyone a fish here? Or is this just the size you pick or
Don't think I know. I think either's a fish. I thought big size here makes sense because basically there's very little trips.
okay, fine.
Yeah, I think you can definitely play a strategy like this, yeah.
I don't mind the big size, but it does have consequences, right? So like once you use a big size and this happens, yikes.
This sizing is so fishy as well. It looks like a fish
Yeah,
size.
I just don't expect a red to overlap here, so I think this is just a fish, right?
Yeah, I might just fold flop. But then again, like,
I wouldn't fold flop.
they
because
might have
do
king
some
jack
dumb
or something.
shit.
Yeah, I think I call flop. We're getting like.
Yeah, I'm not folding flop, and we do have 2 outs to the absolute nuts.
Oh, we folded
okay?
flop. I see.
I mean,
I do
honestly-
sympathize, but like maybe you're right, actually.
I honestly like I'm not gonna like flame you for this fold though. So like even though I wouldn't fold flop, I'm not gonna flame you for this fold because this is like what do you say? Like this is clearly like very underbluffed. But I think that it's also likely that it's a fish with king queen or king jack or something. So I'm not gonna fold flop. That's pretty
I
much
think
it.
I feel pretty good about this.
Fine, yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
fine. Like I'm not gonna flame you for it, but I just wouldn't do it personally. I think it's fine though. Once you go big and you get raised multi-way, like I agree that it's completely underbluffed. But if it's a fish, like I can also see them having like a random hand like pocket tens that they just don't know what to do with. So
Yeah,
I'm not
I mean,
assigning a logical.
the problem is
just
when it's a fish, like, and then they bet half pot on the turn, and then you're like,
No.
oh, they could still have king jack, and like they could have ace king, and like they could have. Oh, you block ace king
yeah, they
heavily,
can.
but
That's part of 25%
yeah,
right? Like,
but but like it goes down. The frequency of them doing that on turn again goes down, and then I feel like it might be a fold again, and then it just gets like I just like if it's close on the
It's
flop,
hairy.
I just fucking hate being in the spot, man. Like it's just a stupid spot that it's never going to be that great. I don't know. There's an argument to just like I folded and I moved on with my life, and I didn't have to deal with
Yeah,
a
yeah.
turn after I called aces on King Deuce. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
So did you find out what he had?
Button was unknown. Villain was looking like a reg over 40 hands, like 23, 23.
If he's looking like a
couple
reg,
times.
he's a reg. I'm snap folding the flop. I don't expect him to have any loss when we go big and the guy calls in between.
Yeah,
And
especially
if they
because
do
like
have bluffs, it might contain one of our aces too.
yeah, absolutely. These two. I mean, these two aces are like fucking like they're the absolute worst aces, right? Like you don't block aces suited.
Yeah, garbage aces. It
I didn't really
probably
think
is
about
a,
that, to
it
be honest.
probably
I
is
just
a
folded,
theory
but
fold. It probably is a theory fold, to be honest, if you think about it. You have like no redraw, or you have like 2 outs, right? It's probably in multi-way, it's probably just a
Yeah,
fold.
I think against a reg
Actually.
I would fold here because like I'm also a bit concerned that like the reg that bluffs this spot is also like extremely aggressive and is very likely going to like pile on me here. So like how often do you survive against a reg by calling flop folding turn here? Like how can that ever be good against the reg pool?
I mean, look, it can't. And we went big
Yeah.
on the flop, right? So like
Yeah,
once we go big, like I'm not. So what did he have? This is the most important thing.
4-3 of diamonds.
Fucking genius.
Have you got the
I will
result?
get back to you.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't hear what he said.
He said he'd get back to us in 7 days' time.
Get back to us. Okay.
You have to tune in next week, guys, to find out what villain had in this hand.
What an awful spot.
Yeah, what
Jesus.
bad aces to have as well. Like, is there a worse bluff catcher there than aces with the spade and the diamond? I don't know. Maybe like fives with the spade and the diamond is worse, but we wouldn't have bet that for the sizing on the flop. So this is
Well, you
probably
could just have a you could just have a king. That's worse, right?
no, because if you have a
Yes.
king, you will block king deuce, whereas you don't block any of villain's value with 2 aces.
Yeah,
If you
but
have the king of
you have
hearts,
zero redraw, pretty much. You can hit a king actually. Huh.
you can hit king.
So yeah.
But you have more implied odds by hitting an ace. Like if you hit king, like you run out of ways to win money, so it's better to have aces for the redraw for sure.
Well, whatever the case may be, I don't blame you for this one.
I actually like it. I don't even like think blame is even the right word. I just don't care.
King 3 of diamonds.
Yeah. It's just a fucking
fun
fish.
one.
Or it's a genius level, right?
No, I
It's-
think it's a reg bluff.
That is so weird.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Actually, it's a bot. The fucking bot.
Yeah.
They do this merge
That's
raise,
gotta be a bot.
flop raise. The bot. Yeah, they flop raise merge sometimes, I think. But yeah, I don't know.
But then like
That's very
how
weird.
does this go in reality then? Let's say it is either a genius reg or a bot, and you call the flop, and then like do you expect them just to check the turn now? Like I kind of don't.
No, they'll give some time. They'll do something on the turn that will let you know what it is. Quite often.
If it's a bot.
Can't say. Yeah, can't say. But yeah.
Mm.
Now that you tell me what the hand is, it's obvious what it is. I don't think it's a genius reg turning his king 3 into a bluff.
Mm.
Because that's kind of silly because we went big as well, and like I don't know about regs, but I don't. Maybe I'm underestimating people, but I don't expect people to fold aces here.
Mm.
Like you did, which I think means you're very like in tune. But I wouldn't expect the reg to fold aces or anyone to fold aces once they've gone big on the flop. Because usually the people that go big on the flop in this spot are just telegraphing their hand strength, right? So you're telegraphing that. I'm not saying you did it on purpose, because obviously you will have you playing this strategy, right? I'm just saying that people that use the big size on this dry board multi-way are likely to be telegraphing their hand strength as a good hand. So I'm not expecting someone to fold a good hand. So yeah.
That's a super weird spot. I'm trying to study more multi-way. It's got a lot to learn.
Mm. Yeah, I don't blame you for the fold at all.
We're on ACR now.
ACR, half pot flop, okay.
I'd probably go a bit
Yeah.
bigger, but I don't really mind.
He leads turn on the 6. Reasonable. Yeah, we raise king 3. I guess we're all in.
You can go all in. You can probably also just So what was your turn size? Yeah, your turn size was kind of. What's the bottom of this region? Is it like 2 pair plus? Or would you play like kings here for this size?
He probably has some kings, some overpairs.
I think I can raise King 10 Ace 10.
In that
Yeah, I think
case,
so.
you should probably have a smaller river bet as well as an all in.
Yeah, you can have like
Yeah.
two sizes.
I
so
just
jam
I
and
just
then
rolled
3/4.
this.
Cool. I agree, pure bluff, and then like just pick a size. Yep. Seems good.
Fun one here.
Ooh.
That's possible, Ruby. Yeah, that could be the thought process if it's a thinking, sentient, conscious creature. It may well not be. Or maybe bots are actually conscious. Maybe they're sitting there like, this is my
I don't know
life.
who it is, but like the reason I don't fold flop is because people on Ignition are stupid. They do
Imagine
stupid things.
bots were conscious and you were an ignition bot and that was your life. Like, what a sad existence. You're just like, you're farming, attempting to farm resources for some
God.
human somewhere, and you don't have an existence. What? I can't think of anything worse. I think I'd rather be like a fucking green fly.
3-bet, 4-bet, sure. Okay.
What's the frequency of this in theory? Just
I
have
don't know.
interest.
Half-ish,
Is it?
I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
More
Yeah,
than I would
quarter.
have thought.
Yeah,
Around
it's about half. It's about half. Let's go for check. Interesting. Is there a reason are you just playing range check or are you checking like how are
Playing
you deciding to check?
half pot check is what I'm doing.
Oh, I see. So you're like building around
Mostly
like
betting
queens,
over pairs,
jacks,
but I think an 8 check's a good
tens,
bet.
yeah, like aces check, kings, jacks, tens. Yeah, got it. Yeah, fine. Just a protection, denial, fast play node. Fine.
If he jams flop, you're just calling.
Kind of have to. Yeah.
You gotta.
Hmm.
Uh, what the hell is happening here?
Are you bluffing?
No. Mm-mm. No better folds here, really.
I thought big blind's gonna hit the king basically never.
Mm.
Yeah, but he still like bluffs his 5-6 and some 9-10, right? So we just check and
Does he not have like
Those
King-
have to call, yeah.
yeah? Does he not have
Oh,
King
those have
Queen
to
of
call, yeah,
Spades or something though, and stuff like that sometimes?
king, queen, heart, spade,
Occasionally.
club.
Occasionally. But
Yeah, this is a value bet, and it's a vulnerable
Yeah.
hand, so it's probably quite a good bet actually.
Man, you're too good. I don't think I'd find this bet on
Yeah, it's a really
best bet.
good bet actually when you think about Villain's range, because Villain has a lot of like. I mean, they do have nines. You block tens. They have like 10-9. They have other draws like Jack 10. They have 5-6. They have 7x maybe. They have like
Ace 7,
sixes,
7, 6.
fives at some frequency. Yeah, I think this is good.
Let me guess. It breaks and you check all river.
Yeah, you check. Well, there's 0%
It's like
pot
30 bigs
left.
left.
I think,
It's 0%.
but I think you still check river because like fives and sixes is now a pure fold against this on turn, right?
I don't know about that. It's quarter.
Yeah,
Alright,
but
let's see. It's quarter in a raise bet line.
maybe it's not
slightly.
then. What is happening?
Why is every hand a blender?
I know, man. Do you ever just play a hand that's like normal?
Normal.
I guess you don't bring those on a show that's meant to be interesting.
They told me to bring interesting hands and I looked
Next
2
time,
months in for them.
just bring 6-5 suited, C bets the flop on like King 7-3 and Villain folded.
And folds, yeah. Like, why is every spot so insane? Yeah, I trickle river, right? 5-6. I mean, it's probably one of our. I mean, it's not the best bluff catcher having the.
Oh,
10,
why do
but,
we have to look at this?
Backorder pot.
This is like making someone like, I don't know.
A worse poker player, yeah.
No,
definitely.
it's
It's making
just-
me a worse poker player.
I think it's the equivalent of like having to analyze like a really unpleasant thing. Like, it's just a really unpleasant thing to have in your brain.
Yeah, I don't even know.
All of my time bank was gone by the turn.
I mean, you need 13%.
You just call because
Like,
like he has
Yeah,
too
you
much
just call.
10-9 and 5-6, so you just have to call and like hope he's putting in with those hands, and some people will be. Yeah, you just call. I mean, you don't fold here.
no,
Clearly
I mean,
don't fold here.
if you get to this point and
Yeah,
you have
you just call.
13%, you just pray.
Yeah.
Just pray, exactly. To be honest, if I had 5-6 here, I would check. So I'm not bluffing for the
No, you've
last
got
one.
to try,
the
right?
thing is,
No, you don't have to try. Not
I
on
think it's a
ignition, not
spot
with.
where the fold equity
this is
exceeds 30.
ACR 1K.
Oh, ACR. Okay, on ACR, I'm putting it in. Fuck it. Good luck. I hope somehow you have ace jack of spades that can fold.
But you
right?
might,
That's
right?
it.
Like you might have the same thought
Yeah.
process that, like the thought process you just had there for big blind, you could have had for small blind as well. And if you, therefore, you just try. You try when pot odds are this good in either direction. You just simply try, right?
You have to try. You have to try.
Against
yeah,
a
yeah.
human.
You want to know the
Yeah, I guess
worst
you-
part about this hand?
Mm.
You both played it awfully. I don't know.
I have a value chopper on river.
That's
Oh,
not that unsurprising at this SPR actually, where like to value bet you don't
Yeah.
even need like 30% equity.
That makes sense actually, yeah, because he's betting so small. You need like no equity, right?
I had a
So-
huge argument with Simon once about this, about
Needs
like
over half.
being able to put in hands out of position at tiny SPRs that have like not very much equity, but being able to do it for like pseudo value or something. And he was like, actually, needings 50% always, value bettings, rivers, and I was like, nah, screw you, mate. And then I found
No,
this
you don't need 50% because you're preventing them bluffing you as well, right?
Yeah.
So you can put it in for
Yeah.
less.
He needs 50% though, but I don't.
Yeah. Sick hand though. Sick hand.
Well, guys, we have 5 minutes left of the stream.
One more.
One more hand, and then we are out of here.
Justin has some insane hands. I'm not gonna lie.
Let me see.
Yeah, pick one that's really like good and juicy.
Can you find the pocket kings hand? It should be on ignition. I thought I sent it to you.
We did all the ignition hands. Did we not? Oh, do you mean you sent it afterwards?
No, I think it was the hand you just had there.
That's ACR, but yeah.
Oh, it was ACR.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so under the gun, big blind, E33. That's a raise to 7.4 big blinds, I think. 3-bet.
I don't
Call.
know why I did this. I was just having fun.
Yeah, it feels like against under the gun, it's not as good, but it's probably not
Did he
bad.
flop 4-bet you?
No, he called.
Oh, I have one where I find
Okay.
at the flop if you want that hand, but
No,
No. This one is fine. This is already
just no.
this is already too entertaining.
So what do we think about the flop 3-bet? Are we on board?
his
On
raise size
board?
is, I think, 75-ish, 66% pot around there.
I mean,
It's not huge, but
asking me if this is good is like I have no idea. Probably it's fine, right? Like you have kings. Like how could it be bad? Only reason this is probably fine. Probably I would choose like ace queen before I choose kings, but yeah, fine.
Yeah, that makes sense. Although at least with because then you block queen jack and your hand is more vulnerable to
blocking
hands
10.
containing a king, and like it
Yeah.
makes sense. And then you're unblocking king 10. Yeah, I like it.
ace is probably also better.
Yeah, exactly. Kings is probably the last hand I would 3-bet a flop. Okay, so he leads the turn. Sure. Okay. Okay.
He's like, I
What
have
the
king
fuck?
10, and I have it more than you, and I don't want it to go check. Is that what's
I
happening?
don't think I have much king 10 at all. I've looked at some of these
You
spots
shouldn't reopen
because
king 10.
I
like,
was
no.
Yeah, the stuff I 3-bet is not going to be draws really, and he's going to call all of them.
So this is an advanced,
Yeah.
like, I can do this because I have more straights now than you have, and you're interested in checking back a bit now. Okay. And you're raising, I mean, it's like he checked, so you're raising, like, sets and ace queen. Are you raising ace queen?
I'd think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My only concern is, does it look full of shit to a good player? Because, like, you're not meant to have king 10, and it's not that intuitive to raise. I guess like when you have jacks though, it's still pretty intuitive to raise, isn't it? And queens.
Ace is ace queen, jacks.
But you don't raise.
queens.
You probably don't 3-bet. Do you 3-bet flop with queens? Maybe you
I
do.
would.
Maybe you do.
I would. Yeah, I would. I would definitely 3-bet flop with queens because his raising range.
I don't know that I would, but it's reasonable. I think.
I would probably do it. Yeah, but fine.
Any jams?
At least at some frequency, and then he jams, huh? Okay.
So this is like really weird, right? Like you block king 10 fairly heavily. He could.
Do we really care about blockers? This guy called a flop 3-bet. And
This
then
guy's clearly
flop
good,
jammed
right?
his turn.
No, I think this guy's a reg. Like I think this is a reg line. 10% pot exactly. I think this is a reg line. I think he's
No,
under.
it's a reg line.
I think
It's a reg. It's ACR.
I'd guess this is a good player. You're playing 600 NL ACR and he's found the B10 donk on the turn. Like this ain't no fish.
He found the B10 donk into the 3-bet jam.
He's just saying he has
Right.
king 10 and we don't, basically, is what he's saying.
That's what he's saying. So if you're gonna call a hand, I guess you call pocket kings.
If he's capable
Well,
of
he has
doing this with
10-9.
10-9,
If he's capable of doing this as 10-9,
you
exactly.
absolutely block the outs of 10-9 like really hard as well.
Yeah, 10-9 has 6 outs.
I mean, if this is lineless, I guess you call. But
This is such a sick hand.
this is actually insane.
This is a really good like expert versus expert hand. Like you wouldn't see this at 100 NL ever.
Yeah, it's a 3-bet pot twice.
This is the most absurd hand I've ever seen.
This
in
is
my
really
life.
quite crazy.
I
Hybrid
don't
turn
even know if
raise.
it's worth. I don't even know if it's worth looking at sim because I don't think.
No, I don't
this
want to
is
look
like...
at sim. I'd rather die.
Well, there's just no flop 3-bet because it's a rainbow board.
I don't want to look at it.
So basically, like, are you saying he's got too much 10-9?
That's what I'm hoping for.
That's got to be
Right,
the premise
so
of calling.
Let's just do the math then, I guess. So what you think his value range is? What, like king 10? Do you think he has offsuit?
I think there might be 5s or jacks maybe, but not really.
Not really. Okay, so we're saying like he's got king 10 and
Maybe
His
a
bluffs-
set here and there.
a set here that, but his only bluff is 10-9, and that's like 4 combos, right? Because he
I
doesn't
went
have
2.5
offsuit.
pre, yeah.
Yeah, you don't think he has offsuit, right? Under the gun versus big
No.
blind. So he has
But he
4
also might
combos.
not have king 10 off free.
Yeah,
not here.
that's fairly reasonable too. So basically, he's got what? If we say he's got no, for simplicity, he says no king 10 off. He's got what? 2 combos of king 10 suited.
Yeah, I guess they'll both 3-bet pre sometimes if the reg is
Right.
good, but probably similar amounts.
And we look
Right,
like an
so-
absolute moron. Like we feel like a moron.
Yikes. I mean, to be honest, there's not really much you can do when he's got the 5s. Like that's a hand he's gonna have. It's more that if you see 10-9, it's actually interesting. Yeah.
I'm a little
What a
bit
weird
surprised he jammed the turn, actually. Because, like, you're saying you have jacks and queens and aces and maybe
And king
king
10.
10, but it feels unusual.
Maybe. Unlikely
Fives,
we have king
fives
10.
feels a bit thin here. Fives feels like getting towards a catcher. I mean, you said you
I
think
don't
about
think it's
raising ace
good.
queen. Yeah, I don't think it's good either.
Yeah, I don't think it's good either, but like the thing is it's kind of one of those you're not calling down linearly, right? Like you're probably gonna fold some like ace queen and ace jacks. I mean, if you have the 3-bet with the ace jack. So since you're not calling down linearly, like he gets called by kings here, and then everything else that beats him, right?
The idea
So-
that he could play fives this way in case you have kings is like so 8th level and
No,
weird.
that I don't think that's what he's doing. I think
No.
I think he's just like I have a set. I'm
Yeah,
not folding
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
At least this wasn't against a bot, probably.
This is definitely or ACR, who knows? But I don't play on ACR. But yeah, this is just a guy who is pretending to be good.
We
There's
don't
no way this is good.
we don't endorse ACR. We don't recommend that anyone plays or doesn't play on any poker site. We're not trying
Yeah, I don't
to
endorse
promote
anything.
any kind of online gaming, gambling,
In
or
fact,
poker.
I say that we should say that you shouldn't do these things. But yeah, we do the opposite of endorsement.
YouTube got that?
I
age
don't
you
know,
got
man.
it.
They're probably just gonna age restrict the
We
video instantly anyway.
actively disencourage everything.
They
to
don't
do with
care.
that.
It's a scattergun approach. They don't really care. Like, there's no humans sitting here making decisions on what we're saying right now. We're not that important.
All right. Well, I gotta go pee. So you guys have fun.
This is the end of the stream, so we're gonna wrap this up. See you later, Extra. Justin, thank
later.
you for joining me today. It was a lot of fun.
Insane hands.
Yeah, and you can post hands on Justin's Discord channel if you're part of a Discord server, and get some analysis on if you have your own insane hands. And we'll get you back on at some point, and we're gonna really try and do more of these shows, grow our community. You have about a week to get into the Carrot Poker Discord by just buying one course. After that, it's going to be like full scholarship or golden carrot to get in. So be quick if you want to buy something lower price. At carrotcorner.com, use code STOPLOSING for a further 20% off. I'll see you guys soon. And yeah, thanks again, Justin. Pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
See you later, guys.